one of our colleagues is running a little bit behind, so he's going to be here in 5 minutes. So if you could just hang tight for 5 minutes, we'll proceed at that point. Thank you. Appreciate your patience. Lieutenant Randall will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, so if you'd all stand, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag.
Okay, so the first order of business will be approval of the minutes of May 15, 2019. I will make a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second on that?
I'll second the motion.
The motion to approve the minutes is approved. The next items for our agenda are the applications submitted for consideration. The first application we're going to take today is going to be item number 13, Big Bounce America, LLC, Fredericks Parks. Pamela Esposito is the manager. This is an application for a one-time Carnival Festival license. The application of Big Bounce America, LLC for a one-time Carnival Festival license to be exercised at Fredericks Park from 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. on the following dates: July 4th through the 7th, and July 12th through the 14th. The carnival consists of various amusements centered around a concept of inflatable bounce houses. Speaking on behalf of the license is... Can you turn on your microphone, please? Thank you.
Sure. Michael Hinojosa, Director of Parks and Recreation, 37 Amelia Place.
Mr. Hinojosa, can you tell us a little bit about what your plans are here and what this event is about?
Sure. So, concept is pretty simple. We've done, as you've seen around the parks, we own our own inflatables in the city of Revere. And for our July 4th celebration, which we would bring in probably 10 or 12 inflatables, we decided just to go with big. And this company called Big Bounce America, they've been doing it now for 3 years. They're a traveling inflatable, so they'll bring in 5 inflatables that range in size from 120 feet by 120, and there's a couple that are 100 by 100, and then some that are a little bit smaller, like 50 by 50. So there should be 5 attractions, as they call them.
Very good. Do any fellow commissioners have any questions?
I think just where it's going to be on city property for the viewing audience.
Yep.
The insurance will be,
They have their own insurance.
they will insure this themselves.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with the city, where it is on city property.
That's correct. It is on city property. They paid a rental fee to be on the property.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do they give you any kind of a guesstimate of how many people this attracts?
So during a 12-hour period, probably a max of about 1,000 people could come through in a 12-hour period. They have the numbers for July 5th already. July 4th, the numbers are down to a point where they've asked me maybe to cancel July 4th. We're still working out those details, but July 5th, right now, there are about 250 people. July 6th, there's 500 people already purchased tickets, and July 7th, there's about 800 people.
Okay. And security, what kind of security?
They provide their own security. I've been in contact with Chief Guido, and we're also going to put a police officer on detail for the 9 to 12 hours that are here.
Okay. I have no other questions.
Thank you. Any questions? Mike, this thing has not been approved by the state. Have they not been inspected by the state? What's the situation with their
Yep,
state?
so they've been in touch with the state since May 1st. It just seems like whoever Pam Esposito was speaking to didn't tell part of the other department, but I was assured as of yesterday that everything is on board. The license will be no problem.
Okay, because if we do grant the license, there would be the possibility that the state could come in and say, this isn't really what we're looking for,
Yep.
and close you down. You
Yep.
understand that, right?
I understand,
Okay.
yep.
Fine. Is there anything else that we need to discuss on this? Yes, sir.
I have.
Yes, Chief.
I have some serious concerns. Lieutenant Randall, we've tried to speak to the company. I don't believe he was able to do so. I was under the impression they were going to be here today, and Lieutenant Randall was going to go over some things with them. I'm glad to hear they might be canceling July 4th, because it'll probably be almost impossible to find officers to work the detail. And I have some questions. Is all the tickets pre-sale only? Can you show up at the event and buy tickets? These are all the questions that Lieutenant Randall was going to inquire from the company today. And I also want to know who's paying for the detail, and we'd probably want at least a deposit up front so they can't skip town after the fact. And I just have a lot of concerns. There's been a lot of advertisements, it's been on Facebook, social media. It was in the magazine, it's been in the newspapers. And we could end up with a lot of people here if we're going to have this event. And there's no only pre-sales. That needs to be known so we don't get flooded with a whole bunch of people that can't even go to the event. So I'm not against it, but I still think there's some unanswered questions.
Okay.
And I would have liked someone from the company, if they couldn't be here, they should have at least reached out to us so we could have asked our questions and got satisfactory answers.
I would agree with you, Chief. Let's see if Mr. Hinojosa has any of those answers.
I can answer a couple of those. So as far as the detail cost is concerned, the part of the rental agreement, we would be paying the detail cost.
So the city would be paying for the detail?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. And how about the
And
pre-sale?
The pre-sales.
Are all the tickets pre-sold, or can you show up and go on?
You cannot show up. They have to be online only. They're
So
online.
if I go there on
Yep.
the 6th, and I have my, whatever the dollar, however the amount is,
Yep.
I can't buy a ticket?
From
and go
what I
in?
understand, they're all online sales. Yep.
I mean, from what you understand, doesn't sound like very solid footing. I mean, what are we talking about?
It's online sales, yes. There's not a ticket booth there, there's not, because there's only a limited amount of space, so there's a capacity to the inflatables. So the large inflatable, the largest one they have, can only have 300 people on it at any one given time. So you can't just continue to accept people. So the max amount of people that are actually going through the event is only 500. That could be on any given inflatable. So you can only buy ticket sales in a 3-hour block or a 1-hour block. The 3-hour block will give you 1 hour on the main bounce house and 2 hours on the other 3. And then once you're done, you're out.
Okay. Mr. Hinojosa, usually when we do allow these events to come in, we've had carnivals and sometimes not something that we really want in the city.
Yep.
But it becomes beneficial to some degree in the city. Having this come into the city at the 4th of July and,
Yep.
very busy traffic, what benefit is it for the city?
Well, for me, it's all about, what our city can provide. I'm trying to promote our city in a light. Big Bounce America is in 40 other states, and, we were selected as, one of the sites because we have the room, we have the space, but this is the only city that they are in Massachusetts.
This is the only one. So out of all the tickets they sell, there is nothing that comes back to the city?
The rental fee, yes. Yep. We've pre-charged them the rental fee, and they have to hope that they make that kind of money to make up for it.
Okay, so there is something coming into our city, is what I'm getting to.
Yep.
So the rental,
The deposit is already down. We've already gotten half of the money, and the other half is already in the mail, so.
and the monies that you collect will go into what fund?
The Parks and Recreation revolving account.
It would be in the Parks and Recreation? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Chief, have any of these questions been addressed to your satisfaction?
Yes, I guess I would ask that the commission not approve July 4th.
I'm sorry?
I would ask that the commission, based on, since there's no sales, that we don't have it on 4th of July. And I
Okay,
guess the
so-
other dates we can work with.
So
And
from your perspective, you could work with the 5th, 6th, 7th?
Yes.
But not the 4th?
yes, I think if they don't have a lot of sales, why don't we just eliminate the 4th? What do you think about that, Mike?
I'm okay.
Okay?
Well, I know there's been a lot of advertising out there for the 4th.
I guess we could approve the 4th, and then if they find it not necessary, I'd like them to cancel it. But we need to know sooner than later.
Right.
And I don't think it's right, this is just my opinion, that the Parks and Recreation is now going to pay for the police details out of the money that was supposed to be for the community. They should pay for the police details. From what I can see, this is be generating a lot of revenue, and they should at least split any police costs with the city. The city shouldn't absorb the whole cost. I know in the beginning, they weren't planning on having police there, but after me and Lieutenant Randall did some research, you could have, between the people coming and the people leaving, you could have over 1,000 people at any given time going to that little area. So I thought at least needed to have at least one police officer to direct some traffic, and God forbid there's an incident there. So
Is
that's
there
my
any
take
medical
on this.
personnel on the hand for this thing, or how does that work?
Yeah, they bring their own people there, but, just like anything else, they would call 911 if they have a problem. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to hear from Lieutenant Randall as to what his conversation was with them.
No, I haven't had conversations with anyone from the company.
They haven't been
No,
in
we were
touch?
expecting them to be here tonight.
Showing up.
Yeah, they're an out-of-town company, so I'm their main contact here, so I told them that I would be here for them.
Now, as far as parking, how much parking do we have in that area?
They're requiring 100 spots from us, but the Beachmont parking lot has about 150.
Okay.
There's on-street parking too. All the way around.
So we're Parks and Recreation is also going to put a couple of staff members on just to monitor parking, especially for the VFW, to make sure that nobody's going in there.
I would just like to see this event turn into another wonderful event for the city.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why all the questioning.
Yeah.
For what's been going on in the city, so far it's been wonderful. But when you start talking 1,000 people, and
Yep.
of course, the pre-sales, I think, is probably a better thing than them showing up paying. So you're going to have a guesstimate of how many are coming that day.
We do 1,000 people every year for our 4th of July event. So if you are at Susan B. Anthony and you've been down there for a 4th of July, that's what 1,000 people looks like. So we've never really had any issues, so.
Okay, I have no other questions.
I guess the question I have, going back to July 4th, Police Chief Guido, quick question for you. So if you had your druthers, would you rather not have it on the 4th based on having to get detail?
I'm okay with approving. I actually had this conversation with Lieutenant Randall and said I didn't think a lot of people would show up on that day. So maybe it'll be a good thing to see how the first day goes with not a lot of people, so we can work out the bugs the more I think about it.
Okay.
I don't want to throw a wrench on something that might be good, so
Well, that's the only concern I have, Chief, is that it's already been advertised. I've read it
right,
in
so
several
let's
different
move
areas.
forward. It would probably be embarrassing to
Right, it'd be
let
very
people
hard.
show up and then it's not there, so
Yeah, and
we'll
what
learn from this, and in the future, hopefully, we can pre-plan before we even
Yeah, that
come
would be
before the
helpful.
board.
Right. And I think the lesser crowd, as you said, on the 4th, may help us determine what to
Right, decide what we
expect.
need to do, if we need extra officers on the other dates.
Okay.
So
All right,
I thank the License Commission for their indulgence.
I'm on their website right now, and it says that tickets are cheapest when purchased in advance and will cost more if purchased on the event day from the box office. So they're advertising that they have a box office that day.
According to Scott, I didn't think that they had on-site sales. But they can only.
Chief, does that change your review of this thing, that they can buy
Again, they can
tickets?
still only
showing up?
have 500 people on the attraction, so, yeah.
Right, so if it's sold out and people come, they'd have to either buy a ticket and come back later, so I guess we'll go with it and see how it works out. We'll handle it. And, Mr. Chairman, I have to leave, but I would just like to be in favor of the one-day licenses for the festival, the sandcastle, and the vendors for the food, for
Have
the...
you worked out the security
for the
and you're
trucks.
comfortable with those
Yeah, and
arrangements?
I just want to say for the festival, I don't think we need to fence in the area. We'll have plenty of police there. And we'll just make sure people stay in the Legion area with their drinks. And I just wanted to come up here and address that with the commission also.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Chief. Okay, so, Mr. Hinojosa, here's what we'll do. I'm gonna make a motion to approve this application for a one-time carnival festival license. So I'm gonna make a motion to approve it as it is, so from the 4th through the 7th, and then again from the 12th through the 14th.
Well, I would like to see that contingent on all proper authorities signing off on it. I don't know if the fire department has to approve it, I don't know. What was the other authority we were waiting for?
There was a state approval
State
authority that has
approval,
to be done.
And you said you've spoke with them?
Yep.
But I would like to make it contingent that they approve it also.
Okay.
And I think that was the only outstanding that we were looking for, other than, I don't think you need fire department there? You're not
No.
running wires or,
Nope.
no? Okay, well, I would second that motion contingent on getting all the approvals necessary for this license.
Okay, so the application is approved contingent on obviously getting all the sign-offs necessary, okay?
Thank you very much.
So the application for the Big Bounce America LLC one-time carnival festival license to be exercised at Fredericks Park from 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. on the following dates, July 4th through 7 and July 12th through 14. The carnival will consist of various amusements centered around a concept of inflatable bounce houses. Your license is approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
The next item is item number 1, Jimerson Enterprises LLC, DBA Larry J's Barbecue Cafe, 1148 North Shore Road. Larry James Jimerson is the manager. This is an application of Jimerson Enterprises LLC, DBA Larry J's BBQ Cafe for an entertainment license to be exercised at 1148 North Shore Road. The requested entertainment is a TV and radio.
Yes,
Speaking on behalf,
Larry Jimerson.
and your address, sir?
I live at 12 Logan Street in Lynn, Mass.
Thank you very much. And pretty straightforward here. Anything that we should know about?
No, just
what-
forgot to put it on when I was here for the liquor license.
Very good. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
Can you tell me what hours are you open?
11:30 to 11:30, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Just 3 days, that's it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because I could
Except
buy
for
there.
maybe the 4th of July, we might open just for that day.
Okay, but I'm not sure what your license says about the days that you can and cannot open. You're saying you're going to open the 4th of July. The 4th of July is on
Next Thursday.
next Thursday.
Yes,
Wow.
ma'am.
So that's a Thursday. You usually open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yes, ma'am. We're just desperate to open. It's been a nightmare of an event just to get to this point.
It's been a long process.
Very long time. Yes, we've been waiting for it to
I'm
open.
bleeding dry. I have nothing in my pocket anymore.
But I think that, you should have some set hours so that, you
Yeah,
would get more customers.
Right. Friday, Saturday, Sunday after next week. That's it.
Okay.
It's
Very
a
good.
catering place that has a very limited seat capacity. I think my load is 53. So what it used to be, it's much smaller space now. I'm desperately trying to shoot for opening for the 4th of July because I need to make some money, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, period.
I'm looking forward to it.
You and me both.
Do you have any questions?
Yeah, just, now if it's just a miss, yeah, they didn't check off radio on the app, there's not a big deal, right? Okay. Hey, I'm just in case. I have no questions. I'm looking forward to stopping in for some nice barbecue.
Come on down.
All right.
I have no questions. I will make a motion to approve this. Is there a second on it?
I'll second that.
The application for an entertainment license is approved. The application of Jimerson Enterprises LLC, DBA Larry J's BBQ Cafe, for an entertainment license to be exercised at 1148 North Shore Road is approved. Your requested entertainment is TV and radio. Thank you very much. Good luck. I'm looking forward to going there.
Thanks.
Thank you. Item number 2, Queen Associates, Inc., DBA Wicked Eats, 76 Revere Beach Boulevard. Cheryl and Mark Queen are the managers. This is an application for a common victualler license. The application of Queen Associates, Inc., DBA Wicked Eats, Cheryl and Mark Queen, managers. The license is to be exercised at 76 Revere Beach Boulevard. Requested hours of operation are seasonal, from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Requested seating is 10. Speaking on behalf of the application,
My name is Cheryl Ann Queen.
and your address?
5 Middlesex Street, Woburn, Massachusetts.
Very good. Can you tell us a little bit what your plans are for here, please?
Sure, absolutely. I prepared something, if I could approach for each one of you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. There you go.
Quickly tell you a little bit about it. So my husband and I are extremely excited at this opportunity to bring to Revere Beach our newest Wicked Eats, which is basically primarily pizza, beach food, hot dogs, hamburgers. On page 3, it just talks a little bit about Mark and myself and how long we've been in the hospitality industry. We own the Twist and Shake, which is just a couple doors down. We've been there for about 17 years. This is just a little blurb about just what we have given to the hospitality industry and what we would continue to give through Wicked Eats. On page 4, there's a little bit about philanthropy. We collectively have donated over $85,000 to local teams, sports throughout Winthrop and Revere since we've been in business. We really strongly believe in giving back to the community. That would not end with the opening of Wicked Eats. We would continue to do that. There's also on page 4, there's some awards and recognitions that we've received through our time over at the Twist and Shake. Our team members, with the opening of Wicked Eats, we're looking at hiring an additional 10 more people, which would bring our workforce up to 45. There are 45 young adults from the local community, Revere, Winthrop, Chelsea, East Boston. In addition to that, our management team that we use throughout the organization, we always promote from within. We never hire a manager from off the street. It gives the young adults the opportunity to showcase their skills and to build their resume within the Twist and Shake and within Wicked Eats and what we do as a company. We've been very successful doing that for 17 years, so we would continue to do so. Every single one of our management team, there's more than half of our employees are ServSafe certified. We believe in making sure that our food and whatever we serve the public is safe for consumption, of course. And if you do need all those certificates, I can easily get those to you, or they can be furnished at the Board of Health because they have all of them. On page 5 is just the design and layout that was given along with our application.
Are you going to be keeping basically the same layout that's there now, or are there changes that,
That's a good question. So we are not making any physical changes to the building. The only thing that's really changing is the kitchen area, where they used to have the Ansel system and the fryer-laters on the back right wall.
Okay.
That was adjacent to the bar. Now it'll be all along the back wall.
Okay.
It's coming along nicely. So I know our Ansel system is being installed on July 9th. It's been approved already for installation, so that's exciting. And we've gone ahead and applied for all the appropriate permits to have everything completed. It has been a project. On page 6 is a sample of our menu. And as you can see, it's really basic. Pizza, hot dogs, burgers, wings, sides, fried dough. That's basically our beach menu. I was getting hungry putting that menu together.
looks like a winner?
It does, right? And then on the last page, there's page 7. So our market consists of, obviously, the surrounding community, patrons at the bar next door. It allows bar patrons something other than Chinese food to purchase from. Again, more than half of our employees are ServSafe certified. It is seasonal. We're looking to open similar to our Revere ice cream shop, so we're looking at about April to November. And then it was an idea of one of my management team, and I really want to implement this throughout, both at the Twist and Shake and at Wicked Eats, is the implementation of Clean Revere Beach Initiative, where we will provide 10 empty slush buckets every day in front, and customers that bring back buckets full of trash from the beach will receive a free slice of pizza. It'll kind of help us clean the beach, as well as a good promotion, a good marketing. That's all I put together for you. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a very comprehensive package. Thank you.
Thanks.
Do you have any questions?
I think you've kind of answered our questions, and it's been a pleasure having you as a business person in our city, because I do see how you keep up your property, and I have no problems voting on this evening, because I'm sure that you will continue with what you have done in the past, including, I think you once won the beautification.
We were.
Of the.
Yeah,
yes,
I was, yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
before children. Before the children came in my life, I was part of the beautification committee.
Right, but you've done a wonderful job. I have no questions. I would
thanks.
think that whatever you venture into, you'll put your heart and soul into, so.
Yeah, this is my wonderful husband. We work
Hi.
really hard. This is Mark. And thank you for your kind words. It really means a lot.
I have no questions, and that's a great idea with the buckets. A slice of pizza, they will be picking up. You'll go through a lot of pizza.
I have a feeling, yeah. Well, it'll be good. We need to all work together and clean up the beach.
Any questions, Commissioner?
No question, just kind of a comment. I just wish all business owners, restaurant owners, or common victual owners would have a presentation like this. Very, very impressed. You worked at it. You came here prepared, made our life and job a little bit easier here. So my hat goes out to you, and
Thank you.
best of luck.
Thanks.
I'm going to grade it. Okay, do you have any, all set? Does anybody like to make a motion?
Any proponents here?
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to do something. I'm supposed to ask for proponents and opponents, and I forgot to do that.
Okay.
So, thank you very much. I will now close that section of the hearing, and we will ask for any proponents. Anybody want to speak on behalf? Please step up to the microphone. And name and address for the record, please.
Hi, my name is Wendy Millar-Page. I'm the Executive Director of the Revere Chamber of Commerce, and I live in Winthrop, Massachusetts. On behalf of Cheryl and Mark, personally and professionally, from the Chamber side, I have worked with them when I worked with the Winthrop Chamber of Commerce. I've known them professionally to be incredible business owners in terms of hiring local, giving back to the community. They are amazing amazing business owners. And I've seen the same thing in Revere. They've already put in their application for their new business to be a chamber member, and we are looking forward to helping them work with this business. My children have had the benefit of working for them as well. So on the personal side, my daughter has learned amazing skills and customer service and Narcan training and CPR training, the kinds of things that all of our youth need to have, and these are the kind of people we need to have in our community to get our kids to have more jobs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other proponents out there? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close that section. Are there any opponents? Is there anybody opposed to this? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close that section of the hearing. Would anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
The application for a common victualer's license is approved of Queen Associates, Inc., DBA Wicked Eats. Cheryl and Mark Queen managers. The common victualer's license will be exercised at 76 Revere Beach Boulevard. The requested hours are seasonal from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. And that's that. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Good luck.
Item number 3, City of Revere Parks and Rec, 249 Broadway, Charles Giuffrida, event manager. This is an application for a one-day license of malt, common victular, and entertainment. The application of the City of Revere Parks and Recreation for a one-day license for malt, common victular, entertainment. The said license to be exercised Saturday, September 21st, 2019. The malt to be served on the lawn at 249 Broadway, which is the Legion Building. The common victuals license is to consist of food trucks along Broadway. The entertainment is to consist of music and games, also along Broadway. Speaking on behalf.
Good afternoon, Charles Giuffrida, Assistant Director, Parks and Recreation, 150 Beach Street.
Thank you, Mr. Giuffrida. Can you tell us a little bit about what your plan is for this?
Yes, sir. So this is our third annual Fall Festival. This will be taking place on September 21st from 12 to 6. This is a pedestrian-friendly event. Our focus here is to close down a small section of Broadway to allow the residents to come out onto the street and enjoy hopefully nice weather, some good food, music, and some libations to sort of bring together our community. This will be our third one. We've experienced some pretty decent success and no incidents, and we're looking forward to continuing it.
Very good. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
No, I believe it's the same exact license as we gave out last year.
Correct.
There's been no changes?
No, the only adjustment is instead of shutting down Broadway at Winthrop Ave, we're going to shut it down at Pleasant Street. So we're moving it up one more block.
Well, that would be something to do with the police department.
Correct. But other than that, the footprint, the details, and everything is the same as last year.
So you've made the police department aware of?
Yes, we've had 2 meetings with them already, and then we'll have another follow-up meeting in August, about a week or 2 before the event.
Well, it's great. It's a great event. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Commissioner LaCroix?
No, I was at this event last couple of years. Well-run, good place just to get together, see people you don't see that often. I don't see any issues with it.
Very good. Okay, well, I mean, we've addressed all these issues in the past, the idea of, you know, the alcohol service and keeping everybody on the lawn and all of that stuff. So it seems that it's been pretty good the last couple of years. It's been a great event. You guys are doing a really great job with it. And I know the people in the city really like it. So I'm happy to see it come back. I'm glad to see you guys really doing good work over there.
I truly appreciate the kind words. Thank you.
Yes, okay. So right now, we're going to ask for any proponents. Is there anybody else that would like to speak on behalf of this?
Hello, Dimple Rana. I'm the Director of Healthy Community Initiatives, 281 Broadway. I am a proponent of this event as my department, Healthy Community Initiatives and Revere Recreation, have teamed up this summer to work on the Summer Night Series and to have it culminate with the Fall Festival and just really have some really great outdoor events this summer and early fall. So I am in full support of the Fall Festival and will also be participating with any of the contributions for the event. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other proponents? Anybody else want to speak on behalf of this? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close that section. Are there any opponents? Is there anybody opposed? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close that section.
I'll make a motion to approve the one-day special license at the Legion building, in front of the Legion building.
Very good, I'll second that. The application for a one-day special license for malt, common victular, and entertainment is approved. The application of the City of Revere Parks and Recreation for the one-day license to be exercised on Saturday, September 21st, 2019. The malt is to be served as prescribed on the lawn at 249 Broadway. The common victulars are to consist of food trucks, also on Broadway, and the entertainment is to consist of music and games, also on Broadway. That license is approved. Thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is item number 4, the Revere Beach Partnership. Revere Beach, Chris Puya is the event manager. This is an application for 2 special one-day licenses for all alcohol. The application of the Revere Beach Partnership for 2 one-day licenses for all alcohol to be exercised in a tent set up on Revere Beach on Friday, July 26th, 2019, and Saturday, July 27th, 2019, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., and this is part of the International Sand Sculpting Festival. Your name and address for the record, please, sir.
My name is Chris Puya, Revere Beach Partnership, 150 Beach Street.
Very good. I think we're pretty familiar with this. It's been around for a little bit. Can you just briefly outline what it is your plan is for this?
Yep, so on Friday and Saturday night, there'll be 2 parties. On Friday night, it'll be about 100 people. Saturday night, it'll be about 400 people. It'll be a private event with a guest list, and then it will be an open bar.
Very good. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
Actually, no, there's been no changes.
No changes?
Other than, I guess, the chief said it won't be roped off this year.
Okay.
But no, there's been no changes. Great event. Looking forward to it. Good luck.
Yeah, I guess I've been to many of them. If there's no significant changes, I don't really have any questions because, again, the area is pretty controlled, and most of the concern is outside the tent area. So that's where I'm kind of out of. That's where the state police come into play more than us local guys. But I don't have anything to add here.
I just have one question about the dispensing of the alcohol. How is that going to be dispensed? I don't see any reference to, is this FMP Productions? Is that the company that's going to be dispensing the alcohol?
Yes, I work on behalf of FMP Productions.
So you actually work for FMP?
Yes.
Are your people, are they tip certified? Can you tell me a little bit about the background of the people that'll be serving the alcohol?
Yep, so my staff, my company, we have, there's 8 of us full-time. We help run the Revere Beach Partnership. We plan their events, and we're the ones who do the bartending at the event. There are at least one person is tip certified, and I believe there are more than that.
Very good. I don't have any other questions.
I don't have any other questions, but I always, when we have a large event like that, like to check in with Lieutenant Randall and see what he has seen in the past.
No, it's always been a successful event with no problems, and where they set up the tents and everything is in the state police jurisdiction anyhow, so.
It is. Do we have any Revere security there?
Oh, during the course of the festival, there'll be a ton of Revere police officers, down to the, on the boulevard itself, as well as the state police. It's very well covered by the police.
Thank you.
Any questions? Very good. So I'll make a motion to approve this. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
The application for 2 special one-day, excuse me, I again jumped a gun. I can't approve it until I ask for proponents and opponents. Thank you. I'm sorry about that. Are there any proponents out there? Anybody want to speak on behalf of this? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close that section. Are there any opponents? Anybody opposed to the Sandcastle Festival? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close that section.
Thank you.
So we have a motion to approve and a second. The application is approved for the Revere Beach Partnership for 2 one-day licenses for all alcohol. The said license to be exercised in a tent set up on Revere Beach on Friday, July 26, 2019, and Saturday, July 27, 2019, from 6 p.m. until 10 p.m. as part of the International Sand Sculpting Festival. Thank you very much. Item number 5, the City of Revere Summer Night Series, at various locations. Dimple Rana is the manager. This is an application for 3 one-day common victular and entertainment licenses. The application of Revere Summer Night Series for 3 one-day licenses for common victular and entertainment to be exercised at the following dates and locations. Number 1, Tuesday, July 2nd, 2019, from 4 p.m. until 8 p.m. On the Marquee Pedestrian Bridge. 2, Tuesday, July 16, 2019, from 4 p.m. until 8 p.m. on the lawn of the American Legion Building, 249 Broadway. And that's from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then number 3, Friday, August 23rd, 2019, from 4 p.m. until 8 p.m. at Sandler Square. The common victular to consist of food trucks, entertainment to consist of live music and children's game. Your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, Dimple Rana. I'm the director of the Healthy Community Initiatives Department here at Revere City Hall, 281 Broadway.
Very good. And can you just tell us a little bit about each one of these events? You can start with the first one on July 2nd.
Yes. So these 3 events are almost all the same in terms of the format, where they include food trucks, music, activities for children. And the only thing that is different about these 3 events is the location. This is meant to be a type of a neighborhood block party series festival that rotates from neighborhood to neighborhood.
Very good. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
Well, again, I'm just concerned, this is all on city property. And the insurance on this is through who? The city?
Yes, so on the July 2nd event, the insurance is through the city, but we do have a permit from DCR for permission to use the bottom of the Marquee Pedestrian Bridge, since the plaza area is under construction. And so there's an updated map with the application. We've moved the DJ, the live entertainment, and the children activities down to the bottom of the bridge facing the beach, and then the food trucks will be set up next to the state police barracks. And again, this is under the certificate of liability with the City of Revere, which we had to submit to DCR for the permit application. And then the other 2 events are also city property. The American Legion lawn is also covered. My department, we host the farmers market every Friday and through July, from July through October. And so again, both of these activities, events are covered. And then the same thing with the August 23rd event at Sandler Square. This is, again, city property, and we are covered.
Okay, and the city trucks, Which city trucks are you bringing in? Which food trucks? The ones that are already licensed in our city, or are you bringing in new trucks?
So the food trucks that we reach out to over 30, and the ones that respond, and we set them up with the various dates and locations. They have to go through a process to receive their permits on their own through the health department, and then also with the fire department through fire inspections for the food trucks. And so the food trucks that are participating in all three of these events are currently have their health and fire inspections and permits done, with the exception of, right now, I'm just waiting to hear back from 2 food trucks for the July 2nd event to see if they're going to participate or not, and that will determine if they're going to be included. But for the most part, everyone, all the other food trucks, which are actually Revere residents as well, they have their permits.
Okay.
Aren't we supposed to license them still, even though they have permits?
Do you have any questions, Commissioner LaCour?
Yeah, just on the food trucks, something about the food truck. Now, you've got 5 food trucks at the one at the Legion event. That's a lot of, I mean, how's the process work? That's a lot of trucks for not a large event. I'm just curious, how's the hiring process work? You just put a bid out and everyone who just...
So, yes, so what we have done currently is we've emailed the 30 or so food trucks that are on our list that we've received either from food trucks that have participated for the Sand Sculpting Festival from the Revere Beach Partnership, with the Fall Festival from the Revere Recreation Department, and then food truck operators that have contacted my department directly or have been referred from someone else to contact us. And so these food truck operators all received the same email and to see if they would like to participate. The ones that responded are the ones that we are working with at the moment.
So at these events, you have now entertainment, it consists of live music and children's games. Is that the constant theme amongst all the different events?
Yes, correct. These are all family events. We want to encourage all different people of different ages to come participate, but we also do want to cater a little bit to families and to children and have free activities for them and for the adults to grab a bite to eat while their children are playing.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. So you're aware that if we do grant the license, that all of these are contingent upon them passing the health inspection and the food service inspection and the fire inspection and that kind of stuff?
Yes,
okay.
Correct.
Very good. Thank you very much. I will close this section of the hearing. Unless you'd like to add anything else. Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
Very good. Are there any proponents? Is there anybody that would like to speak on behalf of this application? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close that section. Are there any opponents? Is there anybody opposed to this? I hear and see none, I'll close this section. Is there a motion or?
I'll make a motion to approve, as long as we have all the approvals from the departments. Okay.
I'll second the motion.
The application for the licenses is approved. The application for 3 one-day common victular entertainment licenses of Revere Summer Night Series is approved. The said license is to be exercised at the following dates and locations: Tuesday, July 2nd, 2019, from 4 p.m. until 8 p.m. on the Marquis Pedestrian Bridge. Tuesday, July 16th, 2019, from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. on the lawn at the American Legion Building, 249 Broadway. And the third one will be Friday, August 23rd, 2019, from 4 p.m. until 8 p.m. And that's going to be in Sandler Square. The common victular will consist of food trucks The entertainment will consist of live music and children's games. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it.
I would just make sure.
Item number 6, Casablanca House of Pastry, Inc., 151 VFW Parkway, Suite 60. Bill Imar is the president. This is an application for a change of location for common victuals. The application of Casablanca House of Pastry for a change of location from 60 Shirley Avenue to 151 VFW Parkway, Suite 60. The requested seating is 50. And the requested hours are 6 a.m. until 10 p.m. Are you speaking on behalf of the business, sir?
Yeah, it's Nabil Ammar. Nabil Ammar, Casablanca, the House of Pastry President, 250 Broadway, Revere.
Very good. Can you tell us a little bit about what your plans are for this?
We just want to move from 60 Shirley Avenue. We've been there for 7 years. We're going to move to 151 VFW Parkway, Suite 60. And we're going to keep bakery, pastry, same menu, just we have the big location. It's going to be 50 seats. Yep. Yeah. So just we're going to move from 60 Shirley Avenue to 151 VFPW Parkway, Suite 60. So we're going to keep the same thing, just location is big, so it's going to be 50 seat.
Now, the place you're moving into, is that an existing restaurant or?
No, we start everything from scratch. We get our occupancy now, so everything is proof from everybody.
Do any of my fellow commissioners have any
I have a
questions?
question about taxes, unpaid taxes.
Yeah, I did. It's already done.
Did you get a receipt?
I don't have it with me, but I have it, yeah. I did it 2 weeks ago, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to listen to my secretary that you went and paid them.
Yep.
You did, okay.
Why are you moving out of your current location? Why are you moving out of your current location?
Yeah, we're moving from there because it was a small location. We've been there for 7 years, so we're feeling we need some moving to big space. That's right, yeah.
Oh, so this is...
Parking too. Surely there is no parking.
Yeah, it's going in over next to with Marshalls and
So you're going in Wonderland Marketplace is where you're going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Plus the post office and big lot.
Very nice area.
Yeah, it's a lot of parking there, so.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot bigger than what you have.
Yeah, it's so much bigger. Now it's 3,800 square feet, almost 4,000 square feet.
I have no questions. It's a very good business.
what was the status of the paid? Very good. Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
I'll close this section. Excuse me. Are there any proponents? Is there anybody else that would like to speak on behalf of this license? Name and address for the record, please.
Yes, Dimple Rana, Director of Healthy Community Initiatives, City Hall, 281 Broadway. I'm a proponent of this business, Casablanca Pastries. My department, when we've had events down in Shirley Ave, also with our community partner, the Neighborhood Developers, Casablanca has been a great asset to supporting our community events. Also, we're excited that they're going to move into a larger space. They serve some really delicious food, especially the pastries that people come from all around to eat. So I'm a proponent of having them open into this larger space. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other proponents? Anybody that would like to speak on behalf of this license application? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close that section. Are there any opponents? Is there anybody opposed to this? I don't see or hear any. We'll close that section. Is there a motion that we can act on?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
The application for a change of common victular license is approved. The application for Casablanca House of Pastry, Inc. for a change of location from 60 Shirley Avenue to 151 VFW Parkway, Suite 60. The requested seating of 50 is approved. The requested hours of operation from 6 a.m. until 10 p.m. is approved. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Item number 7, Uno's Restaurant LLC, DBA Uno Chicago Grill, 210 Squire Road. Peter W. Major is the manager. This is an application for a change of officers. The application of Uno Restaurant LLC, DBA Uno Chicago Grill, for a change of officers for an all-alcohol restaurant license exercised at 210 Squire Road. There is no associated changes in stock or ownership. Can you tell me a little bit about what this is about, sir?
Yes, we've changed our CEO and president and also our CFO and treasurer, so.
Very good. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
I actually don't have any questions. It's a great business, one of the businesses in the city, again, that I'm proud to have here. And if everything is the same, there's no changes at all, just the...
Yes.
That's it.
No changes.
No changes.
I don't have any questions.
Have no questions.
Very good. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'll close this section of the hearing. Are there any proponents? Anybody that would like to speak on behalf of this? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close that section. Any opponents? Anybody opposed to this? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close that section. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
The application for a change of offices is approved. The application of Uno Restaurants, LLC, DBA Uno Chicago Grill, for a change of offices for an all-alcohol restaurant license exercised at 210 Squire Road is approved. There are no associated changes in stock or ownership. Thank you very much, sir. Item number 8. This is Driftwood Special Servicing, LLC, DBA 4 Points by Sheridan, Revere. Excuse me. That's at 407 Squire Road. Robert Lowen is the manager. This is an application for transfer of an all-alcohol in-holder license. The application of Driftwood Special Servicing, LLC, DBA 4 Points by Sheridan Revere, for transfer of an all-alcohol in-holder license from Bisuteki Japanese Steakhouse, Inc. Said license to be exercised at 407 Squire Road. Requested seating is 200. Requested hours of operation are 5 a.m. until 10 p.m. Liquor sales to begin no earlier than 8 a.m. Monday through Saturday and 10 a.m. on Sunday. The requested entertainment is widescreen cable TV and radio. Your name and address for the record, please, sir.
Good evening. Good afternoon. My name is Joe Devlin. I'm an attorney from the Devlin Law Offices at 171 High Street in Newburyport, Massachusetts. I also have a Boston office. With me is Rob Lowen, who is, as you said, the general manager at the Sheraton 4 Points, Logan Revere, and also the proposed manager of record. Would it pleases the chair, I could summarize the application before you. The applicant is related to the property owner. It's their operations arm. The property owner took over this property in around March of 2016. They have a part of their firm does receivership. So this was probably either a property that was in receivership or about to go into receivership. But they also have a part of their business that buys properties that have good value and outlook and things that they can do. So, and that's the case with this one. Then they operate them as an operating investment. They inherited the operator of the restaurant, who also did their food and beverage service to the rest of the hotel. There's a lease. They've had to take on a lot of the responsibilities of the operator in the lease, and they've had some friction with them, and they've reached a point where they've decided to part ways and take over the operations of the restaurant themselves. This is the first step in a multi-step development. They're going to change the concept. After they get this and get this transferred, they'll run it as is for a while, but they are finalizing plans and costs to change the concept to something that they call Pub 1861, which is sort of like a European gastro pub, a little more upscale and a little more, give the feel of like an English or an Irish pub. Mr. Lowen is going to be tip certified. They will be hiring a food and beverage director to run it formally, and they're not sure of the tip certification of the employees because they're not their employees right now, but they will make sure that everybody's tip certified in between now and taking over the operations.
Very good, sir. Thank you very much. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
I don't have any questions at this point.
So right now, the Bisateki is not in operation there?
It is.
Oh, it is.
They intend to continue to operate as is until they'll have to come back to you for an alteration, approval of the alteration of licensed premises, plus get their permits inspections from the rest of the city department. So they'll probably be back to you in about 3 to 4 months with the final plans and the final costs. And then after they get that approval, construction and renovation will start. When that happens, then they'll stop operating the Bisuteki.
Gotcha. Okay.
Is the gentleman from Bisuteki here?
Still in?
Because typically when we, take a license when we transfer a license, both parties are typically here, so that we know that, this person that's their true intent.
Yeah, I mean, this is being done in a cooperative. The lease, they're having a workout of the lease where he's moving on.
He's initiated.
Yeah.
He's asked for a 30-day out, which we have obliged, but this was the first step to start that process.
He provided us with the Department of Revenue Certificate of Good Standing, the Division of Unemployment Certificate of Compliance. We can't get those for him.
Okay, very good. Well, I don't have any questions. Obviously it's, so at this point, Bisuteki will be staying there as is for the time being?
Correct.
And then subsequently, you guys will come back after they leave for some type of alteration?
Yeah, you'll know about it because we'll be here.
Okay, very good.
Okay, so we're not looking at any changes going on at all now?
No.
It's just
Moment
the
in time,
transfer
no.
of that liquor license?
Everything's just kept conceptualized right now, so.
And again, you have nothing in writing from the other party or?
I think we have the 30-day.
I would.
No, if it's not in the application, we'll provide it to Ms. Haney tomorrow. If I get back to the office in time today.
I'm sorry?
How can they transfer? If they're not going to be operating, how can they transfer?
No, I think he is going to continue to operate as
Correct.
is,
So the
but
transfer's
just
not going
transfer the
through yet.
license.
We're not voting on the transfer today.
Driftwood will actually operate the business under that DBA.
Period.
Well, from this point forward, they'll be operating under their license.
You can do that?
Well, I think that it's got to go through the ABCC anyway, so if we do approve it today, it has to also get approved by the ABCC and then come back. So that's going to be a good 30 or better days.
Exactly. The operator will operate until we get approval of the license transfer.
Okay.
Then they will take over operating it as the Bisuteki, as the Japanese steakhouse. And then at some point, they will be coming into you for an alteration to change it, and then it will be shut down so that they can do the alterations.
Very good.
Okay, thank you.
So it's basically just a name change today that we're approving.
Yes.
Everything is going to stay.
All the
as is.
employees will get the
Just to
same.
summarize, everything will be the same till we do go forward and it is approved by this board and the alcoholic beverage.
Correct.
Thank you very much, sir. I don't think we have any other questions. We'll close this section of the hearing. Are there any proponents? Anybody like to speak on behalf of this? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close that section. Are there any opponents? Anybody opposed? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close that section. Would you like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion. The application for transfer of an all-alcohol in-holder license is approved. The application of Driftwood Special Servicing LLC, DBA 4 Points by Sheridan Revere, for a transfer of an all-alcohol in-holder license from Bisuteki Japanese Steakhouse, Inc. The said license to be exercised at 407 Squire Road, Revere. The requested seating is 200. The requested hours of operation are 5 a.m. until 10 p.m., with liquor sales to begin no earlier than 8 a.m. Monday through Saturday and 10 a.m. Sunday. The requested entertainment is a widescreen cable TV and radio. That license is approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Item number 9, this will be a Colwyn Management, Inc., DBA Staybridge Suites, Holiday Inn Express Revere, 245 Revere Beach Parkway. Lucian Cavalcanti is the manager. The application for the all-alcohol in-holder license of Colwyn Management, Inc., DBA Staybridge Suites, Holiday Inn Express Revere, for an all-alcohol in-holder license to be exercised at 245 Revere Beach Parkway with 152 rooms. Requested hours and seating for common victuals license to be 216 seats, and it'll be open from 6 a.m. until 1 a.m. The requested entertainment to be a widescreen TV, radio, DJ, vocal, and instrumental music. Thank you very much, sir. Name and address for the record, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. My name is Stephen Miller with McDermott, Quilty & Miller, 28 State Street in Boston. I have with me Luciana Cavalcanti, who's the proposed manager of record. Also, if you have any further questions, we have Christine Thomas, who's the director of the company with us, and also Chris Moulton, who's the regional operations director. We're seeking your approval for a in-holder, all-alcoholic in-holder license to be exercised at 245 Revere Parkway, along with the CV license and entertainment license. By way of background, Colwyn Management currently operates 18 hotels with fully licensed in the state, and also operates in other states. I think as of the end of August, they will be operating fully licensed for 20, exclusive of the Revere Hotel. They have a significant background. They have a great reputation. They're in numerous communities around the state: Worcester, Foxborough, Chelsea, Boston, and have operated these hotels for a long time without any incident. They have significant management staff. The manager of record, proposed manager of record, Luciane Cavalcanti, she's TIP certified. She's been the manager of record and general manager at the Homewood Suites in Chelsea. She'll be on these premises full-time. She's also been the general manager of the Holiday Inn in Chelsea, and been in Medford, Tewksbury, Amesbury, as part of her training and career as general manager in all those hotels. The request, they'll operate a restaurant at this site, and they have engaged. This has been a long process to go through the community process and the approval for this hotel. One of the things that had been asked for by members of the community is to have a restaurant at this site, and they will be operating dinner service. They will have breakfast and dinner service. They won't operate for lunch. The request for entertainment, there's no specific planned entertainment, like an ongoing basis, as if a piano bar or entertainment every Friday night or whatever. It would be more sporadic, and the request probably would be used more for functions than anything else. If people have a function that they would, if they want entertainment, we'd have the ability to provide it for them. There is 176 seats inside and a patio of 40 seats. We don't We will not provide room service, and we will not have mini bars in the rooms. As I said, Lucianne has significant experience in the business. She's tip certified, and I think gives you a general idea, and we're happy to answer any of your questions.
Thank you very much, Counselor. Do any of my fellow commissioners have questions?
What kind of restaurant are you planning on opening?
It'd be a basic American grill type, full service, but basic American grill.
Just the
Yeah, they operate different types of restaurants in the hotels, but this would be a pretty basic American grill, American fare.
And you haven't had any restaurant there at all, at that restaurant?
I'm sorry?
At that hotel, you haven't had a restaurant?
The hotel is under construction, and it'll be open, be completed
Okay, so-
March 2020, we hope.
Okay, so it's not completed.
Yeah, so it's been a process. There's been a lot of, Christine Thomas, the director, has had a lot of outreach with the community groups that are there, and the abutters and people in the area. And one of the things that they really wanted was a restaurant in that area.
This is the place right across from Suffolk Downs, right? Is that what we're talking about? Yeah. And I noticed that you have Exhibit A here. You have all of the properties that Colwyn Management has an interest in. Do all of these have restaurants and bars associated with them?
They're all fully licensed, full alcohol license, full in-holder alcohol licenses. Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Does anybody else have any questions? Do you have any questions, Commissioner?
No, what's the estimated time this is going to be, opened and ready and operating?
I can say, and just talking to Christine, they're cranking now, and they really want to be open by March.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you got a good location, that's for sure. You got a ton of people going to be living next door in the apartments. Is parking going to be just, because some of the functions I don't know how many people it would fit the function rooms. Is parking a concern when it comes to a function?
We don't think so. The capacity, the maximum capacity inside is 176, so that would all be part of the same. There's no other function space as such.
Okay.
Very good. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any other questions?
I don't have any questions. I'm anxious to see how it's going to turn out. I've been watching that been built for the last year and a half now. But well, you wouldn't have any knowledge of that. You're just with the hotel. Because I kind of thought they were putting a restaurant right in where the tenants were. But I guess not. It's going to be over in the hotel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much, Counselor. We will close this section of the hearing. Are there any proponents? Anybody else like to speak on behalf of this license? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close that section. Are there any opponents? Is there anybody opposed? We'll close that section of the hearing. Do I have a motion?
Well, I think we can vote on it this evening, contingent on when the license is actually used, that all the inspectional services have put their reports in also.
We would obviously need all the appropriate building department, health department, all those
Right.
to pick up the license. So you can vote on a premises yet to be constructed. If we were for any reason to change the floor plan prior to opening, we would then have to come before you to get that approved.
Right.
But we don't plan on that.
Because we don't have an occupancy or anything right now that we
Correct.
could even, you know, put numbers on it.
Right.
So I would, is there a motion
Just
on
one
the floor?
question. So the entertainment's not intended to be like a weekend nightclub, right? You're talking mostly functions?
No, they don't.
Because there are some residents behind there?
They don't do any of that. There's no
Okay,
plan.
nothing like that.
There's no planned weekly entertainment, there might be an event, or they might have a piano player occasionally, but there is nothing planned for any sort of, Commissioner, there's been a lot of discussions with the community groups in that area. So, and they don't operate none of their hotels have that.
Okay, then I'll make a motion, if I'm time to make a motion to approve this, contingent upon all inspectional services are approved and everything else is moving forward. Whatever else you want to add, Commissioner?
No, I'll second the motion.
Okay, thank you.
The application is approved for an all-alcohol in-holder license of Colwyn Management, Inc., DBA Staybridge Suites, Holiday Inn Express Revere, for an all-alcohol in-holder license to be exercised at 245 Revere Beach Parkway with 152 rooms. Requested hours and seating for the common victualers license to be 216 seats from 6 a.m. to 1 a.m. The requested entertainment is to be a widescreen cable TV, radio, DJ, vocal, and instrumental music. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. The next item is item number 10, Nitra Inc., DBA Dairy Mart, 160 Squire Road. Vimuben Grishayam Patal is the manager. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name. The application of a transfer for an all-alcohol package store license and the pledge of the license. The application of Netra Inc., DBA Dairy Mart, for a transfer of an all-alcohol package store license from Dairy Mart Liquor, Inc., and for a pledge of the license. Said license to be exercised at 160 Squire Road. Your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. My name is Attorney Rachel Judkins, and I represent today the proposed owners of this property, which is Netra Inc. And Veer Realty Trust, which you can see from the application. Here with me today, I didn't ask them to stand because we brought everybody. We have the new owners of this company, Mr. Shalin Patel and also Sunny Patel, and also the proposed manager. We do also have here today, we have Sarah Grossman, which is the broker for the property, and also the current owner, Mr. Kevin Lang of the Dairy Mart Liquors, Inc., and his counsel.
Thank you very much. Can you tell me a little bit about what the plans are for this establishment going forward?
Of course. So this is going to be a complete sale of the Dairy Mart establishment that currently exists. So both the Patels have entered into a P&S with Mr. Lang in order to purchase both the real property and the business. The entities will be split. The real property will be owned by a realty trust. The Dairy Mart will then be owned by a company that we have incorporated called Netra Inc., which the sole owners are the Patels. They intend on taking over the store as is. They don't plan on making any changes to the floor plan. They hope to continue offering purchases of beer, wine, cigarettes, liquor, and convenience items, and also lottery. They don't intend on requesting any change to the hours, which I believe currently are 6 a.m. in the morning until 11 p.m., but for liquor sales, of course, they wouldn't be starting until 8 a.m. At this point in time, they're just seeking the approval of their transfer of that license. And just a little bit about them. Sunny Patel owns 2 convenience stores in New Hampshire with liquor licenses without any instances to be referred to. And Mr. Shalin Patel is getting into this business for the first time. They do intend on the very beginning of the process, transferring the property over to them, that they will be on premises with the manager, but the manager herself is extremely experienced. She and her husband have owned numerous convenience stores selling beer, alcohol, in this state. They currently own and operate Robinson News just down the road, and she will be the manager on site for after the Patels decide to not be in the business of working at the liquor store. So at this time, we're also seeking a pledge of the license. The loan that we're going to be getting for this property is from Customers Bank, and they are seeking a pledge of that license for the term of the loan.
Very good. Thank you, Councilor. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
Well, I'm just curious. Seems to be a little confusion about what this license is. When this license was granted, it was a Dairy Mart, which is the name of the business, Dairy Mart. And we allowed them. We transferred a license from another location, and we put it there. I was on the board at the time, and they would have put 40% alcohol 60% food. It seems as though they've changed it to 85% alcohol, 15% dairy products. And I guess from what I understand, people have taken that personal, that's been brought to their attention. It was brought to their attention because if you make it a package store, you can no longer have Keno, and it is not allowed to have seating and chairs.
Correct.
Okay, that's from the Alcoholic Beverage Control Commission, not from any one particular person on this board. And I'd like to make that clear. We want to know going forward what their plans are, because they cannot have table and chairs. I've had people complain to me that I had chairs taken out and they have to stand to play Keno. Well, they're running a package store. They're not running a convenience store. You cannot have it. The table actually should have been taken out.
I believe that from reading the minutes from prior meetings, most of the issues was actually the chairs. So the table being an issue is the first time this is being brought up to me, either through Ms. Hanny or the prior owner. But as far as the chairs go, I believe at this point the chairs have been taken out. I do have photos of the chairs taken out from the property.
Well, that's not it. It's table and chairs and booths. There were 2 booths in there also.
Okay, well, there's no intention of having any booths going forward. The primary purpose of buying this property at this time is for it to be a package store. I believe that's the type of license that it is at this point, the all-alcohol package store license. So that's what we're intending on running.
Well, to be honest with you, when it was voted on, that was not the vote. The neighbors come up, there was a vote that we would not put a package store there. The reason I went ahead with the vote was it was supposed to be 40% alcohol. It was a designated area in the back of the store, and it was supposed to be closed. Okay, they never did that. So now the neighbors are constantly complaining that it's become a package store. So before I make any vote here this evening, we're going to determine which it's going to be.
Okay.
And I think if this board is to say you're closing down the food part, I think it has to be advertised that it's going to be just a package store. Okay? And also, they will have no tables and no chairs in here. I don't want the new owners to come up here and say, well, this is what I was told, and it's going to be straightened out today what you can do. They actually, should the ABC have gone in there, they may have lost their package store license completely, just for allowing those tables to stay there and serving coffee and people sitting in there. I understand people want to do that, but you've got to make up your mind. You're either going to get rid of that Keno and clean it out, and it's going to be a package store, if this board approves a package store, or you're going to make it a variety store, 60% food and 40% alcohol. And that's what the original vote was, and I was on the board at the time. And that was the only reason we transferred that license, which originally was on Broadway.
Okay.
And we transferred it there, stating that the neighbors went along with 40%, but they could buy milk and bread. It's a dairy mart.
Okay.
You can't find any dairy in there.
All right, so your concern, or if we moved forward with the license of 60% alcohol, 40% liquor, which is what, 60% alcohol, 40% convenience, that's what you had originally approved?
No, I believe...
Or vice versa?
I believe it's
the
supposed to be 60%, 40% alcohol. You can't have anything. You can't go on Blanchard's and put up Keno and tables and chairs and sit there and drink coffee and play Keno and drink. You know, I don't think we should have even had to explain that or anybody get upset about the definition of a dairy mart.
Correct. Well, at this time, perhaps we could table this for a moment and I could speak with my clients.
Yes.
Just to have after the clarification of the commission, and then we could bring it up again at the end of the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now, so we're going to adjourn this particular section, and then we're going to move on, and then we can come back, okay? This application will be put on hold for a moment. We're going to continue on with the agenda. Item number 11, Ocean 500 of Revere LLC, DBA Drift, 500 Ocean Avenue, 3rd floor. Michael Aldi, manager. This is an application for an all-alcohol restaurant license. The application of Ocean 500 Revere LLC, DBA Drift, for an all-alcohol restaurant license to be exercised on the 3rd floor at 500 Ocean Avenue, Revere. The requested seating is 138 inside and 96 outside. The requested hours of operation are 11 a.m. until 2 a.m. The requested entertainment is TV, radio, DJ, karaoke, vocal, and instrumental music. Your name and address for the record, please, Counselor.
My name is Corey Rhodes. I'm an attorney with D'Ambrosio Brown, LLP, 14 Proctor Avenue in Revere. With me today is also attorney Jerry D'Ambrosio. We represent Ocean 500 of Revere, LLC, which is proposing to do business as Drift and applying for these licenses. To orient you to where this is going to be located, this is in a new building that's under construction right now at 500 Ocean Avenue. This is the plaza that is in between the Wonderland Station and the Marquis Bridge going to the beach.
Is this the building that actually abuts the bridge? Is it?
It does abut that plaza in between the two. And it will be open onto that plaza. That's actually where the restaurant's face is. This is an exciting new restaurant coming to the city. It's going to be modern American food with Neapolitan pizza, really a high-end restaurant and being run by a professional restaurant family. The Aldi family is bringing this to the city. They have other locations, other restaurant concepts. The Real House in East Boston, Pier 6 in Charlestown, and the Mia Cantina in Faneuil Hall. This is bringing really a Boston-level restaurant to Revere Beach, something that I think has really been needed for a long time. It's a 6,600 square foot restaurant with 138 seats inside and 96 seasonal outdoor seats that are going to be right on that plaza. The whole management team, all employees, they are going to be Serve Safe and TIPS certified. Again, the family has a lot of experience in the restaurant business and knows how important that is. Michael Aldi, who's with us here today, is the proposed manager. He currently is the managing partner at Pier 6 in Charlestown and is going to be bringing his experience and level of detail to Revere. This is a big investment for this family. They're putting in $1.3 million to build out this restaurant and get it ready as part of this new project. And it really means a lot of the good things for the city as well. We're probably talking 80 to 100 new jobs coming to Revere. Just bringing high-quality food, high-quality experience, and jobs to the city. Something Revere Beach, I think, is needed and wanted, a restaurant like this. And we would be happy to go over any questions you have and ask for your support.
Oh, sorry. No, so item number 11 and 12, so they all I assume they tie together, correct?
There is a relationship. They are separated for insurance purposes and separate licenses.
So we could speak on both of them at the same time?
I can to some extent, yes.
Okay.
If I'd be happy to.
So I guess, so are they both located at the same, it looks like 3rd floor at the same location?
Correct. It is that plaza level at the Wonderland Station and the Marquis Bridge. They're neighboring each other, separated by like a hallway in the building.
So explain the difference between what is it? One's just a regular tapestry, or?
So yeah, one is going to be this modern American restaurant. That's the larger establishment, and that is going to be more on the ocean side of the building. On closer to the Wonderland Station will be a high-end tap room. So this is where you'd be getting your craft cocktails, wine, and beer. That is a new, I think, concept for Revere, but something I think that is really welcomed on Revere Beach.
Okay.
I just have one question. So you're going to have, I'm still on the first one.
Sure.
I was looking at the plans here. Is that outdoor parking designated for the restaurant?
Actually, how this building was set up and how it was zoned, the parking for this project is actually going to be by valet extensively, and it's going to be using the Wonderland Garage and other facilities in the area.
Oh, so you don't have a designation?
It's not in how this...
Because I was looking at this, and it kind of looked like there were spots there for the restaurant.
There are actually very few spots directly for this restaurant. It's just how this building got zoned when it came before the city. And the restaurant will be valet, so people will be pulling up and their cars will be basically taken care of off to the Wonderland Garage or other establishments.
Okay.
Is the plan for this to be open year-round or
Yes.
year-round venue?
Yes. The outdoor seating it's probably going to be seasonal given our climate, but otherwise both of them will be all year round.
Very good. Any other questions?
When are you thinking it's going to be opened?
They would love to be open
Timeframe?
tomorrow,
I know
but
that.
the building is still under, yesterday, the building is still under construction, so it's probably going to be mid-August by the time that they're able to get in there, assuming all approvals go through.
So we will be looking for it opening pretty soon then?
They were really trying to hit the Revere Beach Festival. Unfortunately, just I think with some of the construction issues, there's a national grid and some gas line issues, things like that. It's probably in more closely a time for mid-August.
Okay. And where is the restaurant located? Did you say on the third floor?
So it's the problem with Revere Beach is it's so close to the ocean, those lower floors can easily flood. So you actually can't put a lot of commercial or restaurants on the Ocean Avenue side in those first few levels. So this is actually on the plaza level that you'd come off the Wonderland Station and you could go over the Marquee Bridge to the beach. This is about a third floor height.
Okay.
But you can access it from Ocean Ave or from Wonderland Station or even the other side.
Well, actually being on the third floor would be maybe a better view.
I think so. Personally, I'm looking forward to sitting out on the plaza there and looking out at the ocean. So.
Yeah. It's very interesting. I'm looking forward to see it and how it comes out.
Any other questions, Commissioner LaProy?
No, it looks like a beautiful establishment based on this rendition here. It looks like it's something we've needed, especially to spruce up our wonderful beach. I'm looking forward to it. Looks like the owner is well experienced, especially he's got the place in East Boston. And it's been very successful, so I'm actually looking forward to it. I think it's a great thing to bring into the city.
Great, thank you.
Very good, Councilor. I'll close this section. Are there any proponents? Anybody like to speak on behalf of this? Councilor?
Thank you very much. I think it's a credit to the community. We need something like this. My only concern is about the parking with the employees and if there's any entertainment in that area of Ocean Avenue, because it's kind of congested. And any large crowd, would they be a fire detail or police detail if there's a large function? That's the only thing, but I'm in favor of it, and I'm happy it's coming there. That's the only question. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'm sure his concerns will be addressed when it goes forward, and if it's approved, would be contingent on all of those factors.
It'd be fine.
Thank you. Any other proponents? Anybody else like to speak on behalf of this? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close that section. Are there any opponents? Anybody opposed to this? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close that section. Do we have a motion to act on?
I'm going to make a motion to approve.
I'll second that motion.
The application for Ocean 500 of Revere LLC, DBA Drift, for a all-alcohol restaurant license is approved. The license is to be exercised on the third floor at 500 Ocean Avenue. The requested seating is 138 inside, 96 outside. Requested hours of operation are 11 a.m. until 2 a.m. The requested entertainment is TV, radio, DJ, karaoke, vocal, and instrumental music. Thank you very much. The next item is item number 12, Ocean Ale House of Revere, LLC. Fine Line Tap Room. This is also 500 Ocean Avenue, 3rd floor. Michael Aldi is the manager of this location as well. The application for the all-alcohol general on-premises license of Ocean Ale House of Revere LLC, DBA Fine Line Tap Room for an all-alcohol general on-premise license to be exercised on the 3rd floor of 500 Ocean Avenue, serving craft beer cocktails. Requested hours of operation are 11 a.m. until 2 a.m. The requested seating is 76 inside, 44 outside. The requested entertainment is a TV, radio, DJ, karaoke, vocal, and instrumental music. Name and address for the record, please, sir.
Corey Rhodes with D'Ambrosio Brown, LLP, 14 Proctor Avenue in Revere. Again, attorney Jerry D'Ambrosio is with me here as well. I'll adopt a lot of the same comments I had from the last one. This is a very well-experienced family that is looking to bring this other aspect to the same location. It's going to be serving craft beer and cocktails, something I think is going to be unique to Revere and really complement the neighboring restaurant, but they are going to be separate for insurance purposes and liability purposes. Nicole Cody will be the manager. She is also tip certified, as well as the whole staff will be at this location. Again, just a nice, vibrant, and exciting facility to come to the city, and we ask for your support.
Thank you very much. Now, how is this different from the previous application?
So this is a smaller establishment. It's 2,700 square feet, and its primary focus is going to be on craft beer, cocktails, and wine.
Are they going to be serving any food at the...
They will be serving food, which will be associated with the restaurant.
Will they use the same kitchen? Is that how it's...
I believe how it's broken up, there are 2 kitchens, actually. One that'll be servicing the tap room and a bigger one for the main restaurant.
Very good. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any other questions?
No, I have no questions. Again, it's the same.
I don't have any questions. I think they're, I'm sorry.
Just the parking again. Is that going to be valet parking also?
It will be. It will be.
I don't have any more questions. I'll just...
Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you very much.
Are there any proponents? Anybody would like to speak on behalf of this? Your name and address for the record, please, Counselor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. Ira Novoselsky, 53D Hone Street in Revere. I am the ward counselor of that new facility that's being built. They're doing a wonderful job down there. They're good people that are moving in, and it's nice to see some commercial development down there and something going on that folks can go to and enjoy themselves. So I'm in favor of this to happen. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Counselor. Are there any other proponents? Anybody else like to speak on behalf of this? I don't hear any or see any, so we'll close this section. Any opponents? Anybody opposed to this? I don't hear or see any. We'll close that section. Is there a motion to approve this?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
The application for the all-alcohol general on-premises license for the Ocean Ale House of Revere LLC Fine Line Tap Room is approved. The license will be exercised on the 3rd floor of 500 Ocean Avenue, serving craft beer and cocktails. Requested hours are 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. Requested seating is 76 inside, 44 outside. The requested entertainment is TV, radio, DJ, karaoke, vocal, and instrumental music. That license is approved. Thank you very much. Good luck. That concludes the applications for today's meeting.
Back to Dairy Mart.
Yes, we will come back to Dairy Mart. So if you'd like to step up to the podium, please. Yes, Counselor.
I've spoken with my clients, and they are fine with the 60% convenience, 40% liquor designation for the liquor license moving forward. They have every intention of removing the booths that are there. I guess there's 2 other chairs that are there will be removed, the chairs around the table will be removed. The only thing that they are concerned about is having some sort of surface or platform for Keno players to be able to fill out their cards. So if we are able to do the 60/40.
Well, okay, so, and that's fine with me. I'm really happy they want to do that. But if you have 60% dairy.
Yes.
And 40% alcohol.
Yes.
And it's got to be in a designated area. Right now, it's throughout the whole store. It's got to be designated where it originally was at the back of the store. But if you're going to do that, they will be allowed, they can apply for table and chairs with Keno.
Okay.
If it's a variety store, you can't have it in a package store.
That is their intention, to run the store as a 60/40. Did you want to see pictures of the way it is today? And I know these were produced by the broker, Ms. Grossman, who is on behalf of Kevin Lang. The store was moved around, so if you'd like to see the current state that it's in as of just a couple days ago.
Well, we can look at that, but
Yes.
also Lieutenant Randall will probably inspect it in the future.
Thank you, Counselor.
But now with the change that they're doing, which it originally was granted.
Yes.
They can apply for table and chairs.
Okay.
So if somebody wants to come in and play Keno, they can sit down and fill it out. But you can't do it in a package store. That's the law.
Great.
Okay? So if that's what they're going to do, they're going to have to stick with that. And they are going to have to put their alcohol in
the
one
back of the
area.
store, yes.
And make it the Dairy Mart. But they can have people come in and play Keno. They can keep the Keno.
They can, so they, as of right now, as you can see, I don't know if all of you have been into the store, but it has that Keno table that you can see. They're allowed to keep that Keno table and the chairs that go to that table, but
Yes,
they're going to remove the rest of
they-
it.
If they maintain that it is a
The
Dairy
60/40.
Mart 60, liquor store 40, then you can have the tables and the chairs, and people can sit there and play Keno and do
Wonderful.
whatever they want to do.
That will make my clients very happy.
Well,
That's what they want to do.
When I originally spoke to the previous owner, that's all we explained to him. You can keep it because he seems to like the Keno
Yes.
and lottery, but he wasn't backing down on the alcohol.
I'm understanding this now. The Keno is probably the most important because this store is the number 7 producer in the entire state. So it does produce a lot of income for the state. And then also from that, people lingering just a little bit more produces more income for both the owners
Yes.
and the city. So,
that's
so we are
really
happy with the 60/40 split, keeping the tables.
Okay, good.
And then we will be back
But
before you for the
They have to apply
entertainment.
for tables and seating. They have to apply for tables and seating.
I'm not sure about that, do they? I don't know.
No, you can't just put table and chairs. We'll look it up. No, we've seen
Okay.
nothing now.
All right.
Well,
Well,
that
very
sound-
good.
That sounds
So-
like what all I've been looking for, so I don't want anyone to take it personal. That's all I was looking for is, which way are you going? What business do you want to run here? And I was told they want to keep Keno.
Right, they do.
So if they want to keep Keno, then that's fine. They can keep their table and chairs.
Great. Thank you very much.
All right, very well. So we're going to keep it at a 60-40 split, right? 60% Dairy Mart, 40% alcohol.
Correct.
And then you'll be able to keep your Keno and your tables and your chairs.
Correct.
Very good. We'll close this section of the hearing. Thank you. Are there any proponents? Anybody else like to speak on behalf of this? I don't see or hear any. We'll close that section. Any opponents? Is there anybody opposed to this? I don't see or hear any. We'll close that section of the hearing. Is there a motion to work on?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
The application for a transfer of an all-alcohol package store license and pledge of license is approved. The application of Netra Inc., DBA Dairy Mart, for a transfer of an all-alcohol package store license from Dairy Mart Liquor Inc., and for a pledge of the license, said license to be exercised at 160 Squire Road. As an amendment, the Dairy Mart will continue to operate 60% convenience store, 40% alcohol, and will be allowed to maintain their tables and chairs as well as the Keno. That license is approved. Thank you very much, Counselor. Appreciate it. Item number 14. This is a hearing Kenneth G. LaFosse, DBA Brothers Auto Body, 19 Naples Road. Kenneth G. LaFosse, manager. This is a hearing into violations of the Class II motor vehicle dealer's license stemming from some fraud convictions. This is a continuation of our December meeting. Name and address for the record, please, Counselor.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, James Cipolletta, 385 Broadway, Revere, on behalf of the licensee, Mr. LaFosse.
Where are we today, Counselor? What was has the appeal been adjudicated?
No, sir, that's still pending.
Very good. Well, I guess we'll start right at the beginning. I've been by there several times since our last meeting. Every time I go by there, as late as yesterday, I have photos on my phone. We're continuing to park vehicles where they're not supposed to be parked. And that has been ongoing and has been an issue of concern since the initial hearing that I've been involved in. And so what I see here is that the gentleman comes here, he says he's going to do things, and then nothing gets done. And this seems to be a reoccurring theme. And so I don't know what else to say about it other than that.
I think, Mr. Chairman, that a list of items to be addressed and or corrected was given to us by the Commission and also by the Fire Department. And I think Deputy Cheever had addressed the Commission with regard to that list and what he expected the progress and timeline was to be. I have the list. I went over it after the last meeting before the Commission with Deputy Cheever. But for the Commission's edification, I'd like to have Mr. LaFosse bring you up to date on the things that have, I know that when you drive by, you see what's on the outside, but a lot of those things that the fire deputy was concerned about had to do with lives and safety type aspects inside. So if with the chair's permission, I'd like Mr. LaFosse to give you the rundown.
Sure. I got about 95% of everything done that Fire Chief Chivas wanted. Access doors, fire alarms. The only issue I have is with parking that, I mean, customers pull up, they park out front. I mean, I get no place else really to park. It's like a grocery store, you pull up and you park out in front of a grocery store, you go in and, I don't know, you know.
Well, I have some correspondence here from the fire inspector which indicates that no progress has been made in the fire violations. And this was as of 6/26/19. So we seem to have a disconnect here once again, where you're saying that all of these things have been done, but the fire chief, the fire inspector is saying that there's been no progress made.
Everything's been done.
I'm sorry, I didn't have my mic on. Well, and what's being done to address the situation there at underneath the sign? I mean, it just seems like there's just too cluttered there. It's just too crowded. There's too much stuff. I mean, what am I missing?
When customers come in, that's where they stop.
I understand that, but you know what? When I looked at those vehicles, most of them didn't have plates on them.
We just back up there. We don't stay there. I mean, they're in and out.
Well, I'll tell you, I went by there at probably 6 o'clock last night, and there were at least 7 or 8 vehicles parked in the general vicinity with no plates on them, on the street, parked adjacent to the fence, parked along the area on the opposite side of Mario's Towing. I mean, it's hard to tell who's, doing what over there because it is so congested, but that's part of the problem. Do any of my other commissioners have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
I put fence up. I mean, I did everything I can. I mean, I put a privacy fence up over the lot.
I really don't know what to say, I mean, I know you personally, I get it, you run a good business there, but he's been by there every day taking pictures, and these people keep parking there and parking there. I don't know what the answer is. I really don't. As this has been going on since December, I believe.
Commissioner LaCroix, do you have any questions?
You've been by there. I mean, you have a better feedback than I have not personally been by there, but based on Commissioner Solovich's feedback, there are some violations that you apparently haven't taken care of. And then for the fire inspector to send a message to us, he recommends license revocation. That's pretty strong. Now, you may say it's personal. He is the fire inspector, so we have to take his word that he has evidence that there are violations going on to this day. So I don't know. You don't sound very confident that these things have been taken care of. I don't see it in you. So I have to go with with the chairman, who's been down there, and he has actually identified violations in cars with no license plate, so forth, so on. So that's all I got to say right now, and I'll let you guys speak.
If I may just address that, we do realize that it's a congested area and it's shared by several businesses. There was an inspection shortly after the last meeting before the commission, where the fire inspector, some other individuals, and Mr. LaFosse did a walkthrough. Nobody's been back there since then. I don't know what the communication protocol is supposed to be, but if Mr. LaFosse has done all of these things that he says he's done, that were on the list that was requested of him to do, maybe somebody ought to go down there and verify what he's saying. Because I know that I have received by text and email copies of fairly large invoices for fire protection companies and other such businesses. So I know that he's not just ignoring his responsibility or the request. And maybe if a note from the commission, or if I can initiate it, to get somebody, either Deputy Cheever or his designee down there to take a look at it as a follow-up to the inspection, the on-site that they did. It had to be almost 2 months ago, I'd say. Maybe that would clarify some of the issues. I just don't know what the suggestion, what the solution is to parking in the area. That's something that Mr. LaFosse's been parking his cars close to his business for about 30 years down there. How it grew and expanded into other areas, I don't know, or who they belong to, I'm not sure. But our focus was on those items that Deputy Cheever brought to the commission's attention as being safety concerns. There is a definite solution to those. It's probably going to have to be a really out-of-the-box solution to the parking down there.
Well, I don't find it a big problem, to be honest with you. If it were my business and I was worried about my Class 2 license, I probably would have dropped boulders there so that no one can park there. So whether it be Mr. LaFosse or it be the adjacent businesses, no one would be able to park there. So I find that an easy solution. You see that all over the city. You don't want people to park there. You can put boulders, you can put those car stoppers, what do they call them, Sean?
Jersey barriers.
Yeah, the curb stops. And, it's an easy fix, so I don't understand it. People are driving by. I think we've done everything to try to help you. Everything that has come on my desk, I've tried to work with you. That's an easy solution. If you've corrected your other problems and you want another inspection, we'll get another inspection. But you got to do something there. You get all of you together. I'm not saying you personally, sir, but you've got 3 or 4 businesses there. Why can't all of you collectively get together, and then nobody's going to take the blame for who's putting all those cars underneath the billboards? And I'm going to be honest with you, there were cars that truthfully could not be moved. They had to be towed there. Half the fronts were missing.
A lot of times at night, a tow truck would come and they'd drop a car off and they wouldn't know where to put it, and they'd drop it under there. I'd get it out of there the next day.
So that's
I mean,
why I'm
there's nobody lives there, no one does nothing. If I park the cars along the street's narrow, all right? We push them over a little bit so cars can get by. And if everyone just parked on the street, they pulled up and they just parked on the curb, if I did that, they'd park on the curb, cars couldn't get down the street. It's impossible.
I think, honestly,
If you
you've
go-
got
if
to
you go
try
by
and
there-
work with us. I know, but I think that if you still put boulders, they can't go up. When they go under that billboard, they're coming up almost to
Okay.
the highway. You
If I
can stop
put
that.
boulders there, all right, and customers gonna come, they're gonna park beside the boulders. And then what's gonna happen? They can't go on the street. Cars can't make the corner, they can't go down the street. That's the problem. If I block that off, you can't even get down the street. I mean, the city never came down, I've been there for 30 years. They never plowed the street, they never swept the street, they never did nothing with the street, all right? If you go down the street now, I got hot top, and I patched all the holes in the street. I take care of the whole street. There's not one time, I've been here for 30 years, not one plow in 32 years, a plow never went down that street, never. A street sweeper never went down the street. Potholes, I go and buy the hot top, and I fix the potholes on the street. You can ask anyone on the street. I take care of that whole street. Granted, I use it, but if I put barriers there, customers park there, a fire truck can't get down the street, no one can get down the street. I mean, there's nothing under the sign. I own the house beside the sign. I made arrangements with the sign company. If you go there, it's all hot topped under there, it's clean. I weed whack. When I got there was rats, there was trees, there was bushes, it was a forest. I clean that whole place up. I weed whack along the street, I keep the whole thing clean. All the way down American Legion Highway there, where they get the bus stop, they throw trash out there. And, I mean, I own the house there. I have tenants there, and it's just,
Look,
I don't know what you want me to
no one's trying to hurt you here.
well, apparently, if I can't park there, if I can't put cars there during the day, which I do, it's off the street, you are hurting me because there's no place to put anything.
From my perspective, I see that, I don't see you really working with us here. I see you trying to,
It's fire alarm system in which I didn't have to put in, okay? I'm grandfathered. I put it in because he wanted to put it in. I did everything he wanted me to do. I put access door to get downstairs. I spent thousands and thousands of dollars. I have to get on my feet, okay? Taking the parking away from me I'm gonna just close down. It's just, if you go, why don't you live right down the street, why don't you come by there and I can go over with you and just show you what we have?
I live there.
I know you do.
You know that, okay.
If you can just stop by and just let me explain to you what the situation is and show you if I park there, cars can't make the corner, cars can't get down, trucks can't get down. I mean, it's
That's why I'm saying it's, it's a collective problem. It's all the businesses there. I'm not saying you, I'm saying all the business should get together and come up with some kind of solution.
Excuse me, Mr. LaFosse, there's a note here, it just was made to my attention, failed to pay real estate taxes in the property. Is that something that's...
Everything's paid.
It is paid, is that... I hear differently.
we don't have any record of that payment according to the documents that we have.
Everything's paid.
What's the date of that?
It was just a bullet point. I don't have any specifics.
It was paid about 2 weeks ago, he says.
Okay. We can verify that. That's pretty easy. We'll just table that. I personally, I haven't been down there. I'm trying to visualize what the hell's going down there. I almost want to come down and take a look. I know you got issues there. It's a tight area. I don't know. It's probably not a great place to have a business if I was a business owner, but I think I almost want to go with one of my fellow commissioners and see what's going on.
I don't know, we've
what?
gone over this and over it month
No, I
after
understand.
month.
It's hard for me to envision
Yeah,
what's going on
it's-
down there.
He's saying he did the work, he's saying he paid the taxes. I don't know what to say at that point.
If we come
Either
back and the
that-
taxes are not paid, then, we have authority to do what we need to do. But if he's saying in the public that he's paid the taxes, then I assume the taxes are paid. Is that correct?
Place right now and get a copy of it.
I can supply a copy to Maggie in the
Okay.
interim.
Well, we can easily take care of that.
You should be able to verify that pretty easily.
Yeah, it's everything else, I guess, that is a concern.
All right, is there we'll close this section of the meeting at the moment. Is there anybody who'd like to speak on behalf of the business and this gentleman? Your name and address for the record, please.
Hello, my name is Lance Kelly, 59 Stark Ave, Wakefield, former building inspector and zoning officer for the city of Revere. 15 years ago, I believe it was, or 14 years ago, I retired from the city. And that area has always been congested. They have a gas station on the corner of the street that is a very, very busy gas station for fixing vehicles. Then they have Brothers Auto Body. Then they have, what's his name? Mario's Towing right next door. And then they have a construction yard right next to that. Then they have another construction yard right next to that. The street isn't a big enough street for all the business that's on it, but it was zoned properly that they all could open their businesses when they did. Now, Kenny called me and asked me, he showed me a list that Deputy Cheevers wanted him to do, and he asked me what he should do. So I looked at the list, I said, well, Deputy Cheevers is a fireman, so you probably should do the fire alarm first. The fire alarm cost him tens of thousands of dollars, and he did a lot of the things on the list because he called me and said, what about this, what about that? And I said, yes, you did a good job. But prior to putting in the fire alarm, he asked me if he needed a fire alarm. So I called the state, we called the fire marshal, and we called the building inspector for the state. And both of them said that he was grandfathered in, that he didn't need a fire alarm. But I told them that the deputy was very concerned because the street was such a congested street and that there's all kinds of traffic. And he's not that far down the street. A fire engine could get to it easy, but or the fire hoses could get to it easy. And but I recommended that he did the fire alarm first, and it was an exorbitant amount of money that he had to pay. And he did probably 3/4 of the list but the thing he didn't do is what you see. You didn't see inside all the money he spent and the things that he did. So maybe he did it backwards, but I advised him to do the fire alarm first because the deputy was a fireman, and I figured that's what he wanted done. And that's what he was complaining the most about, so it's been done for a while. I don't know how, when did they finish? December? Yeah, so he addressed it pretty rapidly, but then it cost him a lot of money, and he didn't, to his regret, he didn't start the other way. He started with the fire alarm, so I feel a little responsible because I advised them to do that. I just wanted to speak on his behalf because I know he's been in business 33 years. When I was the building inspector, I had to go down and tell him to move cars, and it turned out they weren't his cars. They were the gas station's cars and the people next door to him. And but I'm sure those cars that you looked at are probably his. So I just wanted to, give you a little bit of history. The street is a very congested street. There's all kinds of businesses on that street that deal with automobiles, trucks, construction, and car repairs. He isn't the only one. He's sandwiched in, and there was little bit of a debate whether or not he needed the fire alarm, and the deputy was insistent on it, even though the state said that they didn't need it. I told him he should do it just so that he could appease the fire department, and he did. So, thank you.
Well, Lance, just...
Lance.
All right.
You have a question?
Yes. When was the last time you've been down there?
Well, to be honest, I haven't been down there for 5.5 weeks because I had my shoulder replaced 5.5 weeks ago, and I just could start driving 4 days ago.
Okay. So, I mean, I've done business with you for many years, and I know you personally, and I do take your word for what you said here this evening, because I know you would never jeopardize your word by saying he put that fire alarm in, because I don't have anything saying that was put in. So I'm going to go by you that it has been installed and it's been done.
Well, Ed, Linda, you know, you've never seen me here before.
Right. No, absolutely. I'm surprised to hear you
How long have you known me? You've known me probably 30 years or more.
More.
Yeah,
But
more, right.
So I'm very glad you spoke, because I don't go down there. I don't know. You know, I take their word for it. But
15 years ago, when I was the building inspector, I wound up going down there, and I had complaints, and it wasn't totally his problem. I had to speak to everybody, and I did, and things worked out. You know, I mean, they cleaned up a little bit, and I don't. You know, like I said, I had shoulder surgery replacement 5.5 weeks ago, and I just started driving a few days ago, so I haven't even been to Revere in over a month. But he called me and asked me to, you know, because he's been asking me how he should proceed, and I should have told him that.
I appreciate you coming, Lance. I really do.
Thank you.
And one thing I will say is that I do understand what everyone's saying as far as the businesses there, because there is one business there on that street that has 1 and 2 areas, and he doesn't seem to follow the parking regulations either. I think we all know who he is. He's not here this evening, so I won't use his name, but we've had to correct him on several occasions for parking on the highway, the whole bin. And I do know that one day when I did go down there, 2 of the cars belonged to him, because I seen him move them.
I think, Linda, on any given day, they play musical chairs whose cars are blocking, you know? I mean, that's what I found when I was the building inspector. And
I'm becoming very concerned about the gas station, too. The gas station has a license for
gas station does a tremendous amount of business.
But he has a license for 4 cars. That's all his Class 2 license is for. And I've seen...
To sell. I'm talking about repair business. He does a big repair business.
But I've also seen several cars in there for sale.
Yes.
He only has a license for 4. So I see that's another problem. It is a different business, but I see collectively they're all part of the problem here. And the problem really has
that's
to
what
be
I'm
solved.
trying to say, is that when I was overseeing it, it wasn't just Kenny, although he did his part to clog things up, but the gas station, the towing, the construction yard, another construction yard, and at the end of the street is the oil place.
Well, that's another problem. They come through the back to use
Right,
them.
they come-
They're actually American Legion Highway. They use Naples Road.
Right,
because
and
we've had problems.
that creates traffic on a small street.
Right, we have had problems with them, but I thought that was corrected.
Yeah.
When they used to use the back road to change the oil at the oil place.
Right, and they don't go out that way, they go out Naples.
Right,
So,
right. So it is, I think collectively it is a problem with all the businesses there. I guess what I'm going to turn my attention on is that what you've done by the list that the chief has asked you to do, that your taxes are paid, whatever thing. And I think what we need to do is I think we need to look at all the businesses there and make sure they're going by their licenses, what they're allowed to do. Because I know for a fact the 4 licenses selling more than 4 cars for sale at one time.
I retired 15 years ago. I don't count cars anymore. Ira used to make me count 40 at a time. He showed up with a list of 40 cars he wanted me to tow one day.
Yeah.
Thank you very
So-
much.
I guess that's where I'm at. I want to see that everything,
Could I say something? Would you like to speak on behalf of the business?
well, are we going to close
Excuse me?
aside the
Would you
hearing?
like to speak on behalf of the business?
I would.
Name and address for the record, please.
My name's Wayne Rose, 19 Thorndyke Street. I believe you should give the gentleman the benefit of the doubt. Nobody's been down there to inspect his property. He says it's done. He's a business owner for 30 years in the area. I know the parking's an issue, but it's not just this business, it's all of them. So I think that you should give him at least 30 days till you can get an inspector down there, inspect his property, and let him continue to do his business. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to speak on behalf of the business? Anybody opposed to the business? Anybody want to speak opposed to the business? Well, I guess we can close this part of the hearing. This is a hearing for an application for a license. So let me get to the proper page here, Counselor. Are we voting on continuation of the license or issuing of the license?
I think, truthfully, I'm having a hard time voting for this. I blame Mr. LaFosse for a lot of the problems that go on down there. But I don't think he's the only one that should be up here before us. Because as we know, I think Lieutenant Randall has had to go out a couple of times. I've called him because of another business in the area that puts their cars all over the street and also selling. He has one license for 1 car for sale. He's had several for sale. So I know it's the whole area. I don't know, since Lieutenant Randall has gone down there, if he's cleaned up his problems. But I can't, at this point, listening to everything, Mr. Kelly come up here, Lance Kelly come up here, he said that you've done the fire alarms, you say you've paid your taxes. I say there's several violations going on in your area. And I think I can't at this point blame one business for the wreck that's going on down there. And it is a wreck. I go by there. I see some cars, it's a half a car sitting there. Someone's got to be responsible for that. And I know the other business does a lot of towing. So if they're his cars, I don't know. It's very hard to say who they are. Maybe you have to have stickers made up and put your name on it. That's your car that's in the street and they put theirs. But at this point, I have to be honest with you, I can't hold you responsible for the cars in the street. I can hold you responsible for unpaid taxes or anything that was on that list that the fire chief has asked you to do, then that's a different story. But I think right now, as far as the congestion down there, I'm not going to blame you solely for that. So at this point, I don't know if I'm going to get a second. I'm going to vote to approve the Class 2 license with contingent on those taxes being paid and that list that the chief gave you. I would like to see that those fire alarms were put in and inspected. And I'd like maybe to send the police down for another inspection to make sure that you're saying you did the list, have him come down and inspect again. And I would hope it's all done. But I would make that in the form of a motion. And maybe we have to look into all businesses collectively, including Mr. Fosse, and find out how all those trucks and those cars are just being dumped wherever they want. That was in the form of a motion.
It's up to me. So I feel Foy is very congested down there, and I my fellow Commissioner Guanasso, I kind of agree with her because there's a lot of businesses down there and you may be taking the hit for others that are violating some of the issues that are coming up. And the fire inspector, even though he sent us kind of a message here to revoke the license, he's not here to ask him questions. He sent some item specifics, but again, I'd like to see the things myself. Contingent upon the taxes, if it's found that you didn't pay them, we'll probably get you back here, but otherwise, I'm going to second the motion, and I am going to do a spot check myself, so expect me shortly at some point, and that's where I'm going with it. Thank you.
So we have a second on your motion to approve the Class 2 license. Motion is approved.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you very much. Anything we need to transmit to the Commission, I'll get to Maggie, including receipts and inspection certificates.
Yes, I would personally like it on file that he's done the work that he said he did.
There needs to be a paper trail.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 15, Revere Lodge Loyal Order of Moose, 1272, 470 Broadway. No current manager. Hearing into possible violations of law and regulations stemming from ongoing lack of manager and approved officers. Your name and address for the record, please, sir.
My name Thomas Goodale, 354 Market Street, Brighton, Mass. I'm the Assistant Territory Manager for Moose International. I am also the bar manager and the administrator for Waltham Lodge 1018.
My name is Kelly Freeman. I'm the clerk at Revere Moose Lodge.
At?
The Revere Moose Lodge.
Okay. What's the status here?
I guess you got a report that we had parted ways with Jennifer Santana, that we had a liquor license under review. Well, I was here with Jennifer and several of the other members back about 6 weeks ago, I believe, in which Jennifer was going to be the manager. And on June 3rd, on June 4th, it had come to light between me, the assistant manager, assistant territory manager, and the territory manager that we needed to part ways. So we thought we were in complete compliance with what you wanted to do, what you wanted us to do, and that happened under my direction. I said, let's hold off, let's get everything in place, get the new manager in place, get all the paperwork where we need it to be, and get it to Maggie. On the 5th, I guess, Jennifer appeared in front of Maggie to say that we had parted ways. And then Bob Hopper, who's the territory manager, was here with the idea of potentially maybe having to shut him down, but he got convinced, and I believe that they can make a go of this. We have the people in place, and we did the whole time. Jennifer said that on the 5th that 2 members of the board had resigned. Well, they hadn't. One of them, which he's here today, Bob Preston, and then another, and then Paul Pedoni, who was the administrator. Paul Pedoni didn't resign till the 10th, on which we have his handwritten resignation. They really are trying. I really believe that they can make a go of this. Waltham Lodge, because of the situation that we're in, we were able to step up and help them out. We're continuing to try, and Kelly, who's been appointed clerk, acting clerk and all the paperwork is filed with the state, and all taxes, everything that we're supposed to do is done. I understand this is a long-standing issue with them, going back before I was involved. I've been involved for since February. And along with my lodge and my lodge officers, we've appeared at their Board of Officers meetings, given them support in trying. And when it came time, it wasn't an easy decision, but we decided that we needed to go in this direction, which threw everything backwards back to, September? And I apologize for that. But, they're really trying to move forward. As I said, we got most of the board here today, a couple of them. One is sick, another one is in training at work. That's what I can tell you.
Okay, well, we appreciate that. You should be aware, though, that, there are certain violations of state law that, have occurred. You're required to notify us when a manager leaves, okay? Now, that didn't happen when the guy left 8-9 months ago, whenever it was. And so that kind of snowballed into a bunch of things that should have happened and didn't. You're required to have an approved manager who has authority and control over the premises, and, you really don't. And so, these kinds of things we need to work together on. No one's looking to hurt the moose, but by the same token, you have to follow the regulations as prescribed in the ordinance and in state law. So, we need to come to some type of an agreement here on how this thing is going to proceed forward.
I understand what you're saying, and I agree. I wasn't aware that Wesley Cummins, whose name is on the license as manager now, that it wasn't switched. And then when we were here in front of you and Jennifer Santana's name was going on, as I said, I will take the blame for them not coming to you immediately, because my past experience, and my past experience doesn't include having 8 months of already issues, was, all right, let's get everything in place, and which we did. Bill Ward is going to be, is on the application to be the barman, on the liquor license manager. Kelly Preston is stepped up and is acting as clerk and also bar manager. We have everybody in place. I know, as we did when we were here with Jennifer, when Jennifer put in her application. I can't make any excuses other than the only reason why you weren't notified right away is, from my past experience, the idea would be to go in with everybody in place right away, tell you this is what's going on, and say, we know, here we go again. They did this on my advice. I wasn't thinking in terms of, we were waiting on the approval of Jennifer already. because we sat in front of you and you said,
excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, no, and we can go back and forth here, but, so there's two issues here. So, the first one, club does not have a licensed manager or an approved board of officers, correct? Currently, as we state.
They have an approved board of officers that's been filed with the state.
Okay.
It has been filed with the state.
So you're looking for a licensed manager. We still.
The application has already been
Okay.
submitted, and the board offices never changed. Jennifer had said that we had 2 people resign on the 5th. As of the 5th, we didn't. We had one that resigned on the 10th, and Tom had come down and told Maggie, came down and talked to Maggie about that the very next day. So, and we do have that.
So that said, if in 30 days, next meeting, this will all be in place.
Absolutely.
And then, okay, that said, then the second thing is the taxes and sewer.
All paid.
All paid?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm not sure if there's other questions, but I think within 30 days, if they can get all this stuff together, we can move forward. Or do we have other issues?
I think those are the only issues there, and not notifying us.
Okay, so I'm going to make a motion
I
that.
just would like to just, excuse me,
Sure.
Commissioner, just the only issue well, other than the issues of the taxes and the notifications and everything, I'm down Broadway quite a bit. You've got 2 benches out there. I'm not sure if those are on city property or they're at the Moose. If I were running the Moose and I really want to clean up my act and stop visiting here every month, I would get rid of those benches because I happen to be there a couple of times. And the people that were sitting there were causing a little bit of a rumpus outside.
I'm not sure whose benches those are, but we actually go out there and tell people to move along all the time because you do get people loitering out there.
They're loitering, they're
Yeah.
smoking out there, I'm
Yep.
sure. They're smoking out there, but there was a couple of confrontations there, and I witnessed them.
Okay.
I would think before you have a problem, like I say, if it's city land, they shouldn't be there.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
not sure whose they are.
If not, but you're getting people sitting on those benches all evening, and I don't know, you're not in the city, and that's a problem we have. We're here to protect our residents. We want good businesses on Broadway. I go to Companions maybe once a week. And the people that are using those benches, I don't think are your members. I think they're...
I don't think they are either.
Maybe kids from the neighborhood, maybe, and the goings on there.
Yeah.
You have to be aware of what's going on out on those benches.
Yeah, and we usually, people will go out there and say, come on, move along, but I have no idea whose, benches they actually are, so, but maybe our members might go out there once in a while, but you're right, there are other people that are not our members that are, just sitting there.
But even after you close, those benches are there.
Yeah.
Anybody's going to sit there. They're young kids, they're going to sit there, but they're not just sitting there.
Yeah.
They're being a little obstructive to the neighborhood. So I can't tell you to move them. I don't know if that's city property, but I would think if, you really want to be a good neighbor, you probably should remove those benches.
Can look into it.
And like I say, I've seen it. I do go in there, I come out of there at night, and the kids that use them are not very pleasant to the elderly, I should say.
Yeah.
So that's my own complaint, but Commissioner, if you will.
All of our paperwork for the new manager and the offices is all submitted.
It's all in process.
Yes, no, well, we already submitted it to
Yeah.
Maggie. She said everything's,
And you
good.
submitted the tax payments and so on, the
Tax payments, we
24th.
submitted them to her as well.
Yeah. and-
Yes.
And as long as it clears, because
Yep.
checks have
It
a
will.
tendency to not clear.
No, it will.
But I have, give you a 30-day stay of execution here and
Okay.
make a motion to approve the, is it the,
Well, actually,
what's on the,
there's nothing for us to approve.
Okay.
We can...
It's just a hearing on
Just a hearing,
on
okay.
Violations.
clarification.
We can sanction, or we can wait, put it on file, wait until they come back in with the paperwork for 30 days to see about the management change.
Okay.
We can do something like that. Okay, so you guys going to come back in 30 days with the change of manager request and that kind of stuff?
Well, we already submitted it, so what, are we going to wait to see if it gets approved and then?
Yes, well, no,
Okay.
actually, you submitted it, but it wasn't submitted until the agenda was already set. So
Okay.
we're actually not voting on that at the moment.
Right.
Okay?
So 30 days.
What we were discussing were the violations that, and to be honest, there were some things brought to our attention that really don't sound very good, all right? Drug use on the premises, after-hours drinking.
Underage.
Well, I haven't heard that, but if underage drinking, there's some allegations here that, are kind of severe.
Right.
Very important. And
No, I'm sure you have, and believe me, they're false. But I'm sure you've, just like that we didn't have, our offices, we did. Said somebody resigned, they didn't resign, so,
Okay. I understand there's a lot of
Yeah.
disinformation out
Yeah.
there, and
Absolutely.
people have agendas that,
Yeah.
so that's why we're not really acting on them. But you
Right.
should be aware that they're out there.
Yeah.
And this is what people are saying, and looking at the benches and all of that, it just all kind of coalesces into a picture that really doesn't look that
Yeah.
appealing for the Moose. And I'm hoping you're going to be able to turn that around,
Yeah.
because the Moose has always been a good civic organization for the city, and would like to see it continue. So, I mean, I don't have anything to add to that. I'm not going to ask for any sanctions or anything.
I have a question.
Yes.
Who would we find out whose benches those are? I'd call the city and they would let me know?
I guess the first thing would be to find out if, are they on city property, are they on the Moose property?
Well, they're out in front of our building.
Right, well,
So-
you know,
But is
sometimes,
that sidewalk? I'm not sure if you're right on the sidewalk, I'm not sure.
They're on the sidewalk, so I don't, that's why I'm saying, I don't know. If we go out there and have them removed, are we
I
going to
would
get in
call it,
trouble
I
for
would
removing
call
them?
the city. I would
Yeah.
call the city.
Okay,
I think that Lieutenant Randall will check it out.
okay, thank you.
And he'll
right.
keep an eye on the Moose.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
So I think that,
I think they are drilled into the ground.
Okay, well, I was just going to say,
Yeah.
if they're not,
Okay.
You're not going to just go move the benches. We'll figure it out.
All right.
Thank you.
all right. Yes, sir, you want to say something on behalf of the Moose?
The board, and I just like to say that sometimes people use the benches, they're walking on Broadway, they stop for a moment
Right.
and they use the benches.
Right.
And you know, the club, sometimes it's, people stop and sit there just to catch a breath. You know, so it does come in handy
Sure.
once in a while. And we do have trouble, youths like to sit there and, you know, loiter and cause problems, but we do try to keep an eye on that. And if somebody comes inside and says something, we'll all go out there. And when 40 people come outside, you tend to move, you know?
Yeah.
You have
Well,
cameras
see-
at the Moose?
Actually, we do inside, we have cameras.
Now,
There's
do you have
one
any
outside.
cameras on the outside
Yes,
for
we do
that,
have one that
area?
shows that right out front area, so we do watch the cameras and. we
But
pay
see, when you close, and a lot of nights you're closed early, they're not people
After.
coming from the Moose
Yeah.
that are using the
And that, you know,
benches.
happens everywhere.
Absolutely, that's why I wouldn't want them there.
Excuse me. I just got a message saying that Wesley had put the benches there, so they were ours. We can get rid of them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to speak on behalf of the Moose? Anybody want to speak against the Moose? Seeing and hearing none, I guess we will close this hearing.
I would think that at this point, with the allegations that were made and going forward, and they do have the manager and whatnot, we probably should just dismiss this. Instead
Okay.
of putting it on file, we'll dismiss it and hopefully won't have to come back again.
Thank you very much for your time, appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
That concludes the hearings. The next matters are communications. Correspondence from Jennifer Santana notifying the commission that she is no longer the manager of the Revere Lodge Loyal Order of Moose 1272. License renewal, common victular, N Pizza Inc., DBA Nonny's Pizza, 750 Washington Avenue. GF Enterprises, LLC, DBA Taco Bell, 339 Squire Road. Renewal of a pawnbroker license. Larry Bagnera, DBA La Villa Jewelry, 396 Broadway. Second-hand dealer license. Larry Bagnera, DBA La Villa Jewelry, 396 Broadway. Jewelry Precious Metals dealer. Larry Bagnera, DBA La Villa Jewelry, 396 Broadway. That concludes today's agenda.
Continue till August 17th, on this agenda.
Okay, the next meeting will be August 17th. I'm sorry? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, July.
I missed a month. July 17th.
We don't,
I would make a motion to adjourn till then.
yeah, we don't get the July, month of July off like the city council, but that's the way it goes. Ira told me to say that.
Do I have a second on that adjournment? Second. Thank you.
Keep you busy. A lot of those cars really.
Well, sorry we took so long, man.
get out so late.
Congratulations on your son
Beautiful school. Coral Gables, right? That's beautiful. Good school, too. You know, spread their wings. It's not very
Test, test. Test 1, 2. The meeting of the Revere Zoning Board of Appeals will now come to order. If we could rise, salute the flag. The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sure that you and all of the members are aware of the passing of Paul Mazzoni, a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals for over 10 years. He passed away last month, and I think it is appropriate at this time to have a moment of silence in his memory. First item before the board this evening is application A1916. This was continued from the meeting of May 22nd. The application of Almadin Kalpu of 48 Conan Street, Revere, requesting a minimum parking space dimensional variance to enable the appellant to convert a single-family dwelling to a two-family dwelling at 48 Conan Street, Revere.
The applicant, please step up to the microphone. Press the button. State your name.
My name is
and address
Salmadin
for the record.
Klappu, 48 Conan Street, Rivera.
Okay. Seeing that this is a continuation, are there any proponents? Anyone in favor? Hearing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. Any opponents? Anyone opposed? Hearing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. I did speak to the ward councilor, Charlie Patch, who does not seem to be in opposition. There was no opposition presented to us. So I would ask that if we can vote on this and have a roll call.
Question now comes on granting the relief requested by the appellant. Mr. Bacilli?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. D'Angelo? Yes. Mr. Lopes? Yes. Mr. Pelton?
Yes.
Yes. And Mr. Tucker?
Yes.
Yes, this is granted.
Thank you very much.
The next application before the board is application A1918, which is a special permit application of Andrew W. Tichat, 58 Malden Street, Malden, requesting a special permit pursuant to Title 17, 1740, 1740-040 of the revised ordinances of the City of Revere to enable the appellant to extend and alter an existing two-family non-conforming structure on Lot 5A at 630 Beach Street, Revere.
Good afternoon. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good afternoon, Andrew William Chat, 58 Malden Street in Malden.
Do you have anything to add to the application, or it speaks for itself?
I believe the application does speak for itself. I'm requesting to to add essentially a bedroom to each of the units in the house in the two-family unit, and without changing the footprint of the house itself. In the back where there's an existing deck, I would like to build an addition in place of the deck. The slight change that would be an additional deck which would allow a rear egress to the house. Would have a small porch in the back of the house to allow a rear egress, otherwise we wouldn't have that.
Okay. Seeing that it's a public hearing, I'll ask if there's any proponents. Anyone in favor? Hearing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. Any opponents? Anyone opposed? Hearing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. Any members? I do have a question. What was the additional room will be used for family members?
Yes, so right now I live in Malden. I live in Malden with my father who sits here. My family, because I got married, is moving out to do our own thing. It would essentially become my room, and the additional bedroom downstairs would help offset some of the cost of the construction because that unit would be rented.
Would be, pardon me?
Would be rented. So it's a two-family house. I'd be living in one unit. That would become my bigger bedroom. And the other unit, until if the family grows, it will be rented, just helps.
Okay. Thank you. We'll be voting. Should we vote on each individual item? We'll ask for a roll call. Yes.
Question now comes on granting the relief requested by the appellant. Mr. Bacilli?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. D'Angelo?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Lopes? Yes. Mr. Pelton?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Tucker?
Yes.
Yes, this is granted. The next application before the board is application A1919. This is the application of Post Road Realty LLC, Fairfield, Connecticut, requesting a variance of the City of Revere zoning ordinance minimum side yard building setback between buildings, minimum parking requirements, maximum floor area ratio, to enable the appellant to construct a 12-story, 230 residential unit apartment and associated amenities, including a coffee shop and exercise facility on Lot 2 at 656 Ocean Avenue, Revere.
Good afternoon. Name and address for the record, please.
Good afternoon, board members. My name's Corey Rhodes. I'm an attorney with D'Ambrosio Brown, LLP, 14 Proctor Avenue in Revere. I represent Post Road Realty relative to its development of the final vacant parcel in the Wonderland Transit-Oriented Development Overlay District, better known as the WTOD. I adopt by reference our full petition as part of this presentation. With me today are Post Road's principal, Andy Montelli, the project's lead architect, Joel Bragman of BH Plus A, as well as the project's engineer, Katie Cruz of Hancock & Associates, and attorney Jerry D'Ambrosio. Post Road is really a marquee developer. They've recently completed the redevelopment of the Charleston Shoe Factory in Everett and the Pioneer, the old Harley-Davidson building in Everett. These are two projects that have been lauded by the city in Everett for their fit and finish and really kind of exceptional attention to detail and high quality. They're now looking at this prime location in Revere, right on Revere Beach, and Post Road is proposing a Keystone building to be the culmination of the Waterfront Square project. This specific site sits between Ocean 650 and the Vanguard to the north of Wonderland Station. It is the last parcel in the W. Todd, and its development will mark the completion of Waterfront Square, which was originally envisioned by the city and the state almost 2 decades ago at this point. The proposed building is different from some of the prior construction in the area. It is going to be a 12-story building. It is highly and thoughtfully designed. It's steel, concrete, and glass. It is truly something that has a lot of focus, as you can see in these renderings, to architectural detail and high-end finishes. It's going to be more attractive. It's going to be more beautiful. It's going to be more expensive to build as well. But it is a cut above its neighbors in design, detail, and function. And we justly believe it's going to be the gem of Revere Beach. As I mentioned, though there are specific benefits and details to this proposed building, this is not a new project. It is the conclusion of Waterfront Square, which was originally established under Mayor Ambrosino and the DCR back in 2001. This was expanded in 2003 to include the MBTA, and this led to the creation of documents between Mayor Ambrosino and the state, and a master development agreement with Eurovest, and a codification of the W. Todd in 2010. Waterfront Square has led to the creation of the MBTA parking garage, which you probably know, which has 1,400 parking spaces, and the Marquee pedestrian bridge, as well as development of 4 other vacant parcels that were underutilized properties in Revere. The development of these previously state-owned parcels has significantly increased the city's tax base and spurred significant economic activity in the city. So again, this is not a new project. It is really the fruition of this 2 decades of planning and design by the city and the state to redevelop underutilized state-owned properties and create a modern and vibrant transportation hub. The variance is being sought by Post Road for parking ratio, FAR, and side setbacks are minor and being requested to tailor fit this final project to the constraints of the property and cover some technical issues. First, parking for this property is a ratio of 1.03, which is in line with other recent developments in the area and fitting given this property's proximity to the T, the Wonderland Station. Additionally, given over 70% of the units are studio and 1-bedroom units, the likelihood of families with multiple cars is exceedingly low. It is expected that many units will have no car at all, and the developer is going to tap into their own marketing network to specifically promote this property to young professionals who commute into Boston via the T, or Zipcar, or bike, or even Uber. Finally, and most importantly, there will be no resident parking on the street. And a parking space will not be a separate charge for these units, but will be included in a tenant's lease. For floor area ratio, as this is the last parcel in Waterfront Square, you can imagine it's a little bit of the last one to be chosen. It's the smallest, and it requires a higher density to make it more economically viable. This also allows the project to add the height and architectural features that make it unique in comparison to some of the other buildings on the beach. Additionally, as a whole, it appears that Waterfront Square was well below the square footage that was actually set aside for development in this area by nearly 300,000 square feet. As a result, this is more of a technical request, given that Waterfront Square is substantially smaller than was actually proposed. In terms of side setbacks, the final parcel has 2 issues. First, relative to the neighboring Vanguard property to the north, it was constructed very close to its southern property line. The Vanguard was built closer than any other building in the W. Todd. Under the ordinance, in the way it was written, this actually forces a greater setback on Post Road's property. They are forced to be unfairly conditioned by how their neighbor chose to build their building. And the second issue is due to changes to the Massachusetts Fire Code. In 2016, the code was changed to necessitate greater fire access to the rear of the building. And as such, my client had to create a large fire access lane down the north of the property, and that has been approved by the Revere Fire Department. Also, as an aside, this access way will become part of an easement to the city for access to the Eastern County ditch for ongoing maintenance and emergency access. In conclusion, these issues, these variances that we're questioning, could not have been foreseen at the creation of the W. Todd and Wonderland, the Waterfront Square. They've necessitated these requests, but they're really still of a general technical nature, or otherwise necessary to meet changes to state law like the fire code, or to deal with discrepancies in the ordinance like the proximity of the Vanguard property. These aspects could not have been foreseen when Waterfront Square was originally contemplated in 2001, and as such, the variances are justified here. This project has the support of the ward councilor, who's here today, and the city's administration. Additionally, the project has received a very favorable response from the Revere Beach Design Review Board, and Representative Rosalie Vincent, who sits on that board, was very pleased about how this was going to be different from the other buildings on the beach with its steel, concrete, and glass construction. This building, just to finish, is going to be a culmination, really, of these years of planning for Waterfront Square, and I wouldn't be surprised if you really don't see any other proposals coming in front of you in any recent time. It is appropriately designed for scale and scope, and we truly believe it's going to be the gem of the beach. We'd be happy to go over any questions that you might have.
Seeing that it's a public hearing, I would ask if there are any proponents, and I believe Mr. O'Brien. Bob O'Brien? I'll defer to the ward councilor. Oh, but I didn't see Ira. You have the picture in front of you.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Ira Novoselsky, 53 D. Hone Street in Revere. I'm the Ward 2 counselor, and this piece of property is in my ward, being on that part of Ocean Ave, which I get to represent all the way to Revere Street. And I remember back in the 1950s when urban renewal came in, and all those homes down there, Baker Ave and Chester Ave, Chester Street, were all destroyed for urban renewal, and it was like that for almost 20 years. And when they first set up the TOD and the building and all the transfers of property so we can get our new police station and transferring so they can get a new bathhouse across the street next to the barracks, police barracks, which is being built now. And this piece of property, the final piece that was stated, is the current property for which is housing the DCR maintenance yard. And it's also going to include a new bathhouse for the public. So it's going to be a combined unit across the street. Now, it was mentioned about the FAR, the floor area ratio. They're making it larger than some of the other buildings, and the units won't be 300 square feet. Micro units, they would be good size units. The setbacks, as was mentioned, on the side setback on the Vanguard property, the problem there was, the fire department needs X amount of space between buildings. And the Vanguard property was not built properly. And they actually, when you look at it, they overstepped their bounds by 10 feet. And it was supposed to be a total of 25 feet. So now we have to adjust for these folks to make this, as you can see, this premier property, as they're calling it, and it's beautiful. The next item was on the rear yard, which was, again, a fire department issue. They have to move it back a little and then adjust a little more to allow a fire engine to get back there. And so it's a combination of that side yard and the rear yard that would make things appropriate and make it work. Again, there's no charge for parking. It's part of the lease for everybody. And that would stop, it would help the potential parking on Ocean Avenue, which takes away from the public use. And so hopefully that won't happen. And then I have had discussions with Mr. Montelli and about some of the design, which I didn't like to see a straight-up building, and that's why I asked him to do some setbacks, and he did that, and it's a beautiful building. I've been to his properties in Everett. They're built outstanding, and they are luxurious, may I say. And I think that's what you're going to see here, a luxurious property. On the traffic control, again, I did discuss line markings. There's a very big concern about some of the neighbors that live on Ocean Avenue a little further down, that, you know, the lanes are reduced, and some people didn't see the line markings on going north and south. So as I did with 500 Ocean Ave, I asked them to reline and adjust through the DCR traffic folks. So, and we're going to do, I believe we're going to do Jersey barriers with a sidewalk to protect the folks coming from 650 to go to the T. And it'll only be out one lane, at least for most of the time. I don't know about the very beginning, but I would say that, you know, I'm in favor of this, and I think it will be a outstanding add-on to the finalization of the Wonderland Transit Orient development. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Bob O'Brien. I live at 10 Ocean Avenue in Revere. I'm Director of Economic Development for the City of Revere. And I stand before you on behalf of the mayor in support of ZBA approval of the zoning variance petitions before you. In light of Councilor Rhodes' very excellent presentation, as well as the comments of Councilor Novoselsky, I will not take time to go through all of the details of a letter which we have submitted in support of our position, but I will reemphasize the importance of this being the final development project in a waterfront square development plan that dates back at least to Mayor Ambrosino and has been supported by every mayor and city council since that time, including the current mayor and the Economic Development Department. I think the petitions before you are both reasonable and appropriate. I think the justification for them has already been outlined by others before me. I would note, however, that in our letter, we outline a series of 5 conditions that are contingent on our support for the parking variance. These are the same conditions that we advocate in all cases of parking variance, and we would ask you to make them conditions of the ZBA approval for that particular element. I would just close by commending the quality of the development team. They have been extremely responsive to the concerns of all of the elected and appointed officials with whom they've dealt. They've been very forthcoming with the community, most recently speaking at a Ward 2 community meeting that included all of the developments on Ocean Avenue. And they have also met with the Revere Beach Design Review Board to great acclaim. So I would say they are an example of precisely the kind of developer that Revere wants. Their work in Everett is exemplary, and all of those who have toured those facilities, most recently at the Pioneer, have been universally impressed, and they are bringing to Revere at least that quality of design and amenity space, and perhaps even to exceed that. So for all of those reasons, we join the ward councilor in urging your support of these petitions. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to personally thank you for taking all my phone calls, Bob, and also for the detailed conditions that you're providing us.
Thank you very much. John R. Correggio, 30 Grace Road, Revere, former city councilor, a retired fire lieutenant. This is basically, as the attorney says, a continuation of Waterfront Square, which I was on the council. My concern right now is traffic and parking, to make sure they take care of their own parking and not have any off-street parking. And the other thing is about the units. I'd like to see conditions with that, with the parking, more of the one-unit apartments. That way, we don't have a lot of children coming in because we don't have the schools to provide that. And the other thing is the type of construction, steel and concrete, which I like to see. Also, I want to see utilized union labor, 100% union labor and Revere residents utilized on the project. And those are the questions, and I'd like to see those conditions put in if the attorney could work that out. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other proponents?
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the board. My name's Stephen Burke. I'm a Local 7 iron worker. My business agent couldn't be here because we have a union meeting tonight. We have over 24 members that live in Saugus, women and men that live in Saugus. In Revere. We're in the business of putting people to work. Obviously we rise in favor of this. We would like to see a PLA on the project. We come in on time, we do our work professionally, and that's basically all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other proponents?
Hello, my name is Andrew Fano. I live down the street at 540 Revere Beach Boulevard. I think this project looks fantastic. I'm excited to see it go up. I think the proximity to the T and the Blue Line is great for people like myself who commute into the city every day. I think people like myself, you're not going to have a problem with parking. Most people who live here with the proximity to the T, they won't need cars. They'll be able to commute into work. And I look forward to seeing this property go up, and I think it'll be a great addition to the beach.
Thank you. Any other proponents?
Philip Russo, 175 Ridge Road. I have a couple of questions. Real simple one first. Back on safety. Do we have a fire truck that can handle this building at this height and something that can get around the building, God forbid? Secondly, what I'd like to ask is the building in size for the units itself. The proposed units, are they 2 bedrooms? Are they single bedrooms? What do we have? Our infrastructure can only handle so much. I know it was mentioned before me, but we have to be prepared for this. And we've heard before in the past that people are going to use zip cars, and they're going to use the T and transportation, and then we're overwhelmed with vehicles. And we have people that are complaining about the traffic. We have to take all this into consideration. I know we've done this before in the past, and we've said, okay, this is okay, that's not okay. But nothing.
Excuse me, you're up as a proponent. You realize that, right?
I am.
Okay.
I'm for it.
All right.
But the thing is these are the things that I want put in because they have to be considered better. I love the idea of what's going on about this building. I love where it's going, the look of the building, but we need parking for each unit. These are things that have to be put in there. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other proponents? Hearing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. Any opponents? Hearing none, I'll close that side of the hearing. Do any members wish to have questions? Just for clarification, there has been an order of conditions put in by Mr. O'Brien for Community Development and the administration. So the cost of parking, it has to be included in the tenant's lease, and that there would be no parking on the street. It would be part of the lease that they would be inside. Parking will be limited to lease to the 238 parking spaces approved for this project. There will be bicycle options, a car sharing option, transportation management plan will be developed. So there are the stipulations that have been put in as a condition that we will vote on and attach to anything that we vote on this evening. Hearing that there's no opponents, I'd ask for a roll call.
Question comes on granting the relief requested by the appellant, subject to the letter submitted by the Director of Economic Development, which will be attached to the decision and made conditions of the variance. Mr. Bacilli?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. D'Angelo? Yes. Mr. Lopes? Yes. Mr. Pelton? Yes. Mr. Tucker?
Yes.
Yes, this is granted, subject to the conditions.
The last calendar item on our agenda, there's a request to withdraw. I would like to have a motion on the floor to withdraw. Is there a second?
This is
roll call.
This is a request to leave to withdraw without prejudice. Mr. Bacilli? Yes. Mr. D'Angelo? Yes. Mr. Lopes? Yes. Mr. Pelton? Yes. Mr. Tucker?
Yes.
Yes. This is granted leave to withdraw without prejudice. The only other item is the notification that the legal challenge against the Zoning Board of Appeals in the matter of A1730 on this is notice to the board that the lawsuit against the Zoning Board of Appeals on the project at 7 Reservoir, on Yeaman Street has been dismissed by agreement of the parties. No further business.
No further business. Thank you and have a good evening.